John Cryer fans, all four of you, welcome back to Miku's Crackhouse. This is episode 123. I'm your host, as always, Sam Kingla. And joining me is my best friend and co-host, Myles J. Myles, welcome back. How are you doing?
Are you talking about 2.5 Men again?
Yeah, John Cryer from 2.5 Men.
Yeah, why are we talking about 2.5 Men again? Do you even watch the show?
I didn't want to talk about John Cryer, but I want to talk about crying, Myles.
Okay. Talk about the crying game.
Myles, when's the last time you cried at a piece of media?
Like, are we talking about like severe, like real, tears coming out?
Tears actually welled up and started rolling down your face, or got very fucking close.
Oh my god. See, because I feel like I should have an answer to this because it happens. It happens enough. But I can't think of the last time it happened. I could name some of the times where I'm most embarrassed that it happened. But I can't tell you the last time it happened. I do tear up when I listen to like certain songs from Nier Automata. The ending of Death Stranding usually gets me. Ending of Mother 3 usually gets me. I did tear up. I didn't cry, but I did tear up a couple scenes in Tears of the Kingdom that were just like beautifully done. But like, yeah, the last time I like truly like welled up and cried like at a piece of media, I actually don't know. I think it was Death Stranding, like 2 or 3 years ago.
I ask because I'm not a big crier. I'm not a big emotional crier when I watch stuff.
You well up. You've mentioned you well up, but you don't cry.
I do well up. Last time I cried at something was when I rewatched Toy Story 3 with a buddy of mine, which that's a fucked movie. That's just a fucked movie.
You know, I was thinking about that.
Fucked up. I fucking like movies of masterpiece out of 10. Fucking hate that movie.
It's funny because I was thinking about that movie, right? And especially in comparison to Toy Story 2, because like it only just hit me today that Toy Story 2 is the funniest one.
I love Toy Story 2. That's my favorite one.
That's the funniest one. And I think I still like the first one the best just because that I have such like a connection to that movie.
The story is so perfect in the first one.
The first one is a perfect film. And I like the simplicity of it, and I also kind of like that it's like they have a lot of obstacles to overcome. Like Mr. Potato Head is a villain in that movie, which is fun. I like that. Like it's like you got Sid, you got Mr. Potato Head, like kind of galvanizing the toys.
Head's not a villain.
No, but
from Mr. Potato Head's perspective, the sheriff is evil.
No, well, exactly, but like he is. Sorry, he's an antagonist. He's not a villain.
He's a foil.
Yeah, he's an antagonist. But he's not a villain. He's not a bad person. He believes he's the one that's like and here's the thing, like he's not wrong. Like Woody is in the wrong in a lot of instances in that film.
Basically the entire run of the movie.
Yeah, like up until the last 60 of 70 minutes he's wrong.
Yeah, that movie is short as fuck.
Yeah, well, that was all animated films back in the day. Yeah. Dude, I rewatched Sleeping Beauty like twice, like last year, I think. Or maybe even just like a couple months ago, just because like I was like studying animation and like because that movie is perfectly shot, like an incredible like animated like cinematography experience. That movie's like 71 minutes long, and it's just so funny because now you go to like Elemental and it's like 2.5 hours. Yeah, and it's just like it's just like what we don't need this. Nothing needs to be longer than 90 minutes. Like it turns out. Yeah. And because as you said this legendarily with Ninja Scroll, and I officially agree, it's like nothing needs to be longer than 90 minutes. Some things are I like the length of like I like a nice long JRPG, but a lot of JRPGs could be 20 hours. Like if they really wanted to be, you might lose out on some character scenes, but you know, come on, snip. But yeah, no, Toy Story 2 is definitely the funniest one, and like then you follow it up with Toy Story 3, and like that movie. It's got some funny parts, like Mr. Pita Head is very funny. Some like the stuff with the clown is really funny. What's his name? Giggles, like
yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, but like that movie is not funny at all.
Movie's fucking sad. Like
it is funny. It's funny to think
profoundly,
about.
Like not just sad. It's profoundly sad. Like
I always think about if the movie ended at that furnace scene, right? Which they're never going to do
Christ.
it.
That's where I cried. By the way,
that's where everyone cries
because it's so. Dude, even when you know, and I'm like, I just could not fucking believe how emotionally intense this fucking scene is.
I actually cannot believe that they swung for that fence, and it makes Toy Story like
it's so hard, dude. They swing so fucking hard and fast at that fucking pitch.
I also think it's great because you're not there. There's no like obvious setup for how they're gonna get out of that one.
No, not at all.
Like it really is bullshit how they get out of that one. But you're just so happy that it didn't happen that you don't care that it came out of nowhere. And you know what? It makes the barest amount of sense. Of course, the aliens, they like the claw, of course. Like, it makes just the barest amount of sense that you're fine with it.
It's actually so poetic that I, like, don't even fucking care that it's dumb.
That's the thing.
Makes no sense.
It
I don't
stops
care.
being dumb. It, like, stops being dumb because you're just glad they're out of that situation.
Yeah, and yeah, so here's why I cried at this week, because I cried twice.
Oh no!
In this
twice
at shit. I got teary-eyed at shit. So I'm like, man, I'm becoming an emotionally unstable individual, man. Cause I'm not even cause this shit's fucked up. All right, so first thing that got me fucking emotional as shit, and I was mad. You know when you get emotional, you're upset about it. You're like, I can't believe I'm this invested right now.
Yeah, no, that happened to me with Shazam.
Yeah,
all the shit with his mom.
Yeah,
with his mom, like that actually gets me, and I'm like, this movie's so stupid. Like this movie's just big with superheroes, and they went so hard with the mom subplot, and it's great. And when he jumps off the building and says Shazam, the lightning strikes. Yeah, it's like that shit gets me emotional. That movie rules. But
that is great.
I'm not seeing the sequel. Apparently, it's not great.
You didn't see the sequel, which came out like a year ago.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. I don't need
Blue Beetle out now.
Yeah, did you see that movie? Did that make you cry?
No, I did not. I did not cry at Blue Beetle. No. I don't think I've cried at any of the superhero movies. Actually, maybe Spider-Man 2 Once Upon a Time.
Spider-Man 2 is a good one. That one's
a good emotional movie.
I cried from hype. This happens to me sometimes. I cried from hype at Spider-Verse, the first Spider-Verse. Like when he like jumps off the building and like runs through the streets of New York. Like that was like, I got so hyped that I started welling up. And that happens to me a couple times.
So I cried at the penultimate episode of Riverdale.
Oh no, Sam. Yeah, that's
and I was up. Like, I was fucking like actually crying. I was like, I can't believe this shit right now.
Do you want to give the context?
Spoilers.
Or do you
I'll
think
give the spoilers.
Okay, yeah.
I'll give the spoilers. Because basically what ends up happening is 2 episodes in the second to last episode of the fucking show. And again, I've been bitching how they've been in the fucking 50s and there's no fucking way they're going back. It's just there's no fucking way they're doing it. And lo and behold, I'm right, because like about 10 minutes into the penultimate episode, Tabitha comes back, who is the time traveling character in season 6, who is also Jughead's like girlfriend in that season.
Okay.
And they and basically she comes back, and Tabitha's also like an angel. She's like a guardian angel type of character. She's got a lot of like fucking. So basically, the entire season, more or less the entire season, aside from a couple episodes where Tabitha's 1950s counterpart is involved in some escapades, and then she goes to join the civil rights bus movement. Where they go bus.
Oh, yeah, the bus
in the
boycott.
southern states. Yeah, thank you. They did busing, and she went and did that. So she's still doing that 1950s Tabitha. So this is our time Tabitha. Basically comes back to Jughead, and who she erased the memories of the past life with him. He initially remembered, but she went back and cut that shit out just so he can live in peace. And she ends up like re-showing him all the shit. And he's like, oh my God, I fucking remember everything. And he basically forces them to watch like a VHS tape of like Riverdale episode 1. And then basically, so it's implied that they just watch seasons like 1 through 6 or whatever. And they like learn everything that they need to learn.
The framing device.
And basically, it then goes to basically Jughead then tells the whole gang. And he's basically like, okay, here's the deal. We cannot go back to our time. Because Tabitha fixed all the branching timelines, so now there's just one timeline, which is this timeline. So they can't go back to the future, but she can give them their memories back. So Jughead takes it, because he considers himself sort of the chronicler of this town and its stories. So he feels like he feels obligated to remember. But then he goes up to all his friends and he's like, "Do you guys want to see what your past lives were like?" And Archie, who in this season is becoming like a poet or whatever, he initially does it. Then Betty and Veronica go see it, and then basically the rest of the gang get together and they watch it. And then they all sit and they're all just like they're all fucked because like Betty is learning that her fucking dad is a serial killer and that she has a fucking stepbrother who's also a serial killer who is in a sexual relationship with someone who pretended to be her stepbrother for months. Who's also a fucking serial killer, and she has the serial killer genes in her, and her sister fucking got murdered at like a fucking lounge lizard truck stop and fucking got buried in a ditch and was revived. So Betty fucking had to learn all this shit, and like Archie's like, I went to fucking prison, I got attacked by a bear, I had to all this heinous shit everyone fucking has to come to grips with. And then they all get together as a gag, and they're basically all talking about what they're gonna do. And Veronica goes to Angel Tabitha. She's basically like, "Hey, we were all thinking, and like, do you think maybe we could just remember like the good shit and then all the bad shit we just don't?" And then Jughead's like, "Nah, it doesn't work like that. It's got to be all or nothing." Tabitha's like, "Nah, I'm an angel. I can rewrite your memories however I fucking feel like." And after all the fucking pain and all of the horrible, awful shit that happens to everyone in Riverdale, they get the peace of not knowing any of it. Like, and I just was like, this is such like a perfect gift to all these fucking characters that they get to just continue living on when shit's pretty good. And they don't have to remember all this like heinous shit,
you know,
or
what
go back to a town that was truly like Detroit X10 levels of fucking poverty down bad.
You know what they might be setting up? They might be setting up that the finale of the show is basically the town becoming the Archie 50s clean cut comic town.
That's kind of what I think they're kind of doing.
That's kind of the best possible ending to that show.
Especially with how it starts and how it is so like, we're gonna be a modern take on the Archie cast. Like that's why I watched it, because I'm like, yeah, I want to see Betty get hooked on Adderall. I want to see Veronica get up to really risque shit. Like I want to see like, Jughead get involved in a gang.
and now you're the doomer meme. You're like,
nice lights.
Thank you.
You want to talk about those? You want to talk about cute lights?
Sam, I'm getting older, and I think the thing is, like, in my day-to-day life, I feel so incompetent and so like
yeah, you said it.
Stupid. Yeah, but like I am getting older in increments, and I think one of the things that makes me realize how truly old I am is that I do get excited for having a new light switch, like where this is a big highlight of my day. Like getting not only this, but like that I have the remote and like that I can show people. It's like, oh, look at all the settings. Like let's crackheads. Let's just go through.
Yeah,
for a moment.
Let's see everything.
Yeah, we got dim light. We got half light. 3/4 light. Bright light. Not only that, and I had it on 3/4 light for consistency. Not only that, but I also got a fan that goes up in increments. Just jam on this.
That's good. How loud is it?
Well, let's find out. I don't think it goes any faster.
I turn my.
No. There's this like button. These are the 6 fan settings. You can put them up and down.
You can make them out. I can't because compression's fucked. But
everyone else can. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that too loud just in case. Just in case it picks up on the mic. But yeah, like I rearranged my desk so that my PC would be on top of the desk as opposed to like on the floor as it was.
Yeah, that's a nice way to do it.
Oh yeah, well, because it started to bend the stereo wire of my like stereos, and like it got to a point where like it needs to be soldered, otherwise, or soldered.
Soldered, yeah, it's soldered. Sorry. I'm pretty sure
it needs to be soldered because otherwise, like you have to bend the jack to get sound out of it. So I'm gonna take care of that. But like, I realized, yeah, it was because it was on the floor, and like I can't be part of the floor gang anymore, dude. It just I can't do it.
No.
Like I gotta be up on the desk gang. So I like push the desk up against the wall. Like just and that's the garbage that I'm so proud of nowadays. Like as proud as I am, I'm so proud of like stupid crap now. Like again, like proud of my Tears of the Kingdom mod list that I didn't make. I'm just so proud of of all the bullshit
that's what happens when you get older. Is you just start taking pride in just like nonsense.
Yeah, I'm just like my Hylian shield is 10% bigger. Do you understand what that means? Like just this garbage that no one cares about. Where like I can't like go into a Discord and be like, guys, I moved the shield on the X and Y on the Z and Y axis so it doesn't clip through the cape anymore. How cool is that? Like, no one cares. No one gives a shit other than me. I actually went in and I fucking went in and into NX editor beta version 0.3.6 and I in increments moved the shield further back so that it doesn't clip through the Hylian hood. Now on any other outfit it looks terrible. So I'm like dedicated to this one outfit, but you know what? That's how I was the first time, and that's how and like the amount of pride I feel in
your no clip,
yeah, in
Hylian shield,
in a non-achievement of a mod, Sam, in an utter non-achievement of a mod, like just pure trash that I take pride in now, and it's just very funny, like getting older and. There are two things that, as I get older, I realize about myself that I don't like. And the first one is, like, I am so excited for trash. I'm so excited for garbage. But then the other one, and I wrote this down, like, I did not realize, getting older... Yeah, okay, I said, I can no longer tell what is liked unironically. The older I get, the more I realize, like, there's all these, like, cartoons and all these nostalgic properties... where I'm convinced that people meme on them and they like them as a joke, and then I find out, like, no, this is actually popular. Like with
nobody actually likes Mike Lewinog. I can tell you that one right now.
Well, no one likes Mike Lewinog. No one dislikes Mike Lewinog. No one has an opinion of Mike Lewinog.
Oh, I mean, I dislike Mike Lewinog. I haven't seen a single episode. I just think it looks gross, and also I don't want to watch a show called Mike Lewinog.
Yeah, the art style's not great.
That name doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me that I'm going to watch something interesting.
Well, it's not interesting. That show is so mediocre. And I'll talk about another show that I remembered that's like the perfect like show.
Please.
But I was thinking about this in particular with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, because Diary of a Wimpy Kid, when I think back on it. Of course people liked it. It had a film. Had 900 books. Yeah.
Oh, I love the books, genuinely.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, but I thought, like, because I'd always seen, like, memes of people doing, like, the art style, and then it would have, like, a you know, a more adult caption or whatever, or, like, some
yeah,
sort
like
of
Greg Heffley, where he runs away from the bomb or whatever.
Yeah,
like, that's
stuff
just
like
awesome.
that, where, like, I thought, like, yeah, people are just making fun of how bad this art style is or whatever. Like, no, like, those are done with affection. Those are done with love and affection. And, like, the older part of me, just because I didn't grow up with those books, I was like, yeah, I guess people don't like them because I don't hear anyone talk about it. I only see memes of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, so I guess everyone thinks it sucks and it's lame. It's like, no, these are beloved fucking books.
No, yeah, I mean, I specifically with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I unfortunately have only read the first 6 books. Now, Jeff McKinney, I think is his name, has like 15 or 16. And one of my favorite things when I lived back at home was when I'd go into Meijer near the toys and electronics section, there would always be a display for Diary of a Wimpy Kid that would always house the new book. So I would go see what the new book is. I'd open it up. I'd see kind of what it's about. So the last one I remember is Greg goes on tour with his older brother Roderick and his band Loaded Diaper. I think he goes on tour for them for like 10 days, and the book cover is like that. Because basically, so here's what's fucked. It's actually like so funny because Greg Heffley becomes like every single like video essayist ever with this fucking diaries. Because first 3 books, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 3 books, 3 years. Then you get Dog Days, which covers the summer of post 8th grade leading into freshman year of high school. Ugly Truth only covers up until like middle of October, so only like the first like 6 or 7 weeks of school, his freshman year. And then Cabin Fever only goes up until like end of winter break, because it's mostly him stuck inside with his family during the holidays. And the book's just covered, like, he gets so verbose, I guess, and he covers such because he's still in high school now. And I'm like, because these books do play out in real time, so to speak, and it's just fucking crazy that Jeffy Kinney's been able to get so much out of this fucking kid. Like,
well, and apparently it's because of the essay bloat. He's out here with that King K grind. Just making sure those scripts are as long as possible.
But like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like the YouTuber thing, how like, the first 20 or so videos,
yeah,
like
they're
like
like,
iPatch Wolf.
Yeah.
How like iPatch Wolf's got like in his first like 2 years has like probably like 20, 30 videos that are like pretty high quality and about a bunch of stuff. And then the quality bar just gets exponentially bigger and more work needs to be required. So it takes like a month or 2 months for projects to come out. Like, that's how it feels like with these books.
Yeah,
or like reading these books, where it's like at first we used to cover so much time, and now you just cover like a week. Like,
it is funny because you look back at like Jacob Geller for like as an example. Like for a while he was uploading pretty quickly, and now I mean Jacob Geller still gets out a lot of videos fairly quickly, but it feels like now Jacob Geller has reached that point where like his uploads are like an event. That same point that like Matthew Matosis has, or
like Action Button.
Well, Action Button is the biggest event because those videos take literally 1 year to make. Action Button videos are such an event that it's like really hard to comprehend. Like even compared to like an upload by, I mean Matthew Matosis, like those also take like a year, but
like a Matthew Matosis video appears.
Yeah,
it
just shows up.
It's not. It just appears. Yeah. It's
not, and he's like streaming and he's in the background. He's doing stuff. He's making his games. He's uploading to his extra channel. And then a video just drops. Whereas like Action Button, like if you're following the Patreon or his Twitter, like it's like behind the scenes footage of a film being filmed. Like.
And that's also the thing too, is because when these fucking things drop, they're like 6 or 8 hours long now.
Yeah, and it's so it almost makes it worth it to wait, because that's your whole week is getting through that video. Unless you're the type to get it all in one day.
I know, which God bless you if you are. I want to sit down and like actually like do all the action buttons, but I need to beat all the games.
You haven't beaten any of the games that he's talked about, except for maybe Doom.
It's fucked.
Yeah,
I have not beaten Doom. Okay. I've only played the first 2 or 3 episodes of Doom. Dude, Doom episode fucking 4 is hard as shit.
I can believe that.
It is fucking balls hard. And I'm not very good at Doom. I want to be good at Doom though, classic Doom.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I realize that there are some games that you want to be good at immediately. I can't really
you gotta practice.
Yeah, like there are some games where I don't mind not being good at it immediately, and then there are other games where I really wish that I was. And it's just a crapshoot when I sit down to play it. I think usually the more like stylish it is, like I felt this way with Bombrush Cyberfunk, where I was like, it's a shame I'm not instantly good at this game. Even though that would probably not be fun. Like getting better is the fun, but there are a couple games where I always feel this way with like a lot of stylish action games, especially. And I made sure that I was this way with Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't move on until I felt good about a score that I got on that stage.
And also, too, by the way, with Bombrush Cyberfunk, they also don't fully, like, it also takes them, like, probably, like, 2 or 3 hours for them to fully introduce all of the the scoring mechanics and how the multiplier works exactly. And it's not, because I kind of felt similarly, where I was like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good. And then once I like fully got to see everything, or it was fully all explained to me, then I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. Because it's basically like Tony Hawk.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was interested in, was the more Tony Hawk-esque elements of it.
And because you gain the multiplier when you lean into a turn on a rail, which they take like 2 hours to explain that to you in like a tutorial. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I just was like, I feel like I should be going faster.
Yeah, that was my problem with the game at the start, was like, I just felt like I was never going fast enough, especially compared to like Jet Set Radio Future. Like, you kind of always go as fast as you want to in that game. It's really hard to define, but
yeah, and also the boost makes you feel really fucking fast in Jet Set Radio Future as well, which is good. Where in this game the boost is also good and useful, and I like that it's like you grind it back up by doing tricks and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good system,
which is nice. And but yeah, you have to lean into the corners, and when you do, you get a boost and you increase your multiplier. And then you also increase your multiplier whenever you run on a billboard or whenever you skate up a ramp. All three of those things trigger your multiplier. And then honestly, like, the game is mostly just kind of like about freeform, just kind of like going where you want to, exploring new parts of the map so you can turn new corners and grind on new boards and billboards and find new half pipes so you can just get your multiplier up as high as possible. And then just like, you just fucking do different tricks.
Yeah, it's funny because like, I think this is the game that made me realize like I'm kind of done holding out for spiritual successors. Like, because I just want to say, I don't dislike Bombrush Cyberfunk at all, and I intend to come back to it. But I realized like I had a choice to make, which was Armored Core 6 is coming out like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, Bombrush Cyberfunk will go on sale in 2 months, and it will be probably just as good. So I need to prioritize Armored Core 6 because I'm generally more interested in that game. And like, I know I promised to play Baldurs Gate 3, but I just don't want to play an RPG at the moment. I just have no interest right now. And like, I'm not gonna.
It's a big game too.
I'm not gonna like, just because it's a Game of the Year contender, I'm not gonna force vegetables down my throat.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, like,
you shouldn't do that.
I'm not gonna ruin it for myself, because I would genuinely like to go into the end of the year like being like, yeah, man, or Baldur's Gate 3. Every time I see BG3, I think Battlegrounds. But yeah, like, I'd love to go into the end of the year being like, yeah, man, Baldur's Gate, like, I'm really glad that game came out this year. I'm really glad everyone liked it. Like, as opposed to like being a curmudgeon about it because I played it at the worst possible time in my life.
And you fucking hate it.
Yeah, like which I realize, like, it just happens that way sometimes. It truly just happens that way sometimes. And
I feel like it actually happens for me all the time. I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 is the first time genuinely in fucking forever where I am playing the It game.
Like, at the time that it's...
During the It time. Because I gotta be honest, I got Elden Ring a few days before its official release, and fucking played it for like 50 hours and fell off it, basically right when everyone started actually playing it. So I missed all that shit. And I didn't end up beating it until months after the fact. In like October, November, on like a fresh file. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is the first time I'm actually like playing a game with everyone else, and it is pretty. I guess that's fun, but like I haven't really gotten that much out of it.
No, and like, it's funny with Tears.
In that sense, I've gotten a lot out of the game. Yeah. Just I haven't gotten out, like, you know what I mean.
It was funny with Tears of the Kingdom because like, for as nice as it was to like be able to, like, I only ended up talking to 2 or 3 people about it at a time. Like, at the end of the day, when we were all playing it at the same time, and a lot of us were in such different states of play and at such different parts of the map, and we also had just such different priorities that eventually, like, we just couldn't talk about it because we all like were like, no spoilers, like, oh, I'm at this part of the map, oh, I haven't been there, I can't say anything about it yet, oh, did you find this, well, I haven't been there yet, I can't say, like, so like with that game in particular, and that's such a unique circumstance because it's a giant non-linear game and you can almost never know when anyone's done anything in it, but like with that game in particular, I enjoyed when I did get somewhere that a friend of mine alluded to, and I could have been like, oh yeah, I agree, that part was really cool. But like otherwise, most of our conversations were like, yeah, I'm having fun. Yeah, I'm having fun too. I can't say anything because you haven't been there, but...
exactly. It's like kind of the nature of the do anything, go anywhere game. It's like... it is kind of hard to have a conversation when you see totally different stuff.
What is fun about it is like playing like the hint game. Like trying to drop hints without them realizing like what you're alluding to. That was the most fun part of Tears of the Kingdom discussions with friends of mine was trying to find the most like creative non-spoiler way to be like, hey, have you been to this place yet? Have you gotten this item yet? But like otherwise, like I wasn't on Twitter, so I didn't care. Like I wasn't having beef with all these people who like don't like the game or like, just RTing all the fan art, whatever. Like I missed out on most of like the early era Tears of the Kingdom memes, like just shit like that because I'm not on social media. And truly when you're not on social media, there's no reason to play a game at launch, like other than to have a conversation with 2 or 3 people that, by the way,
or you actually are interested in the game.
Well, yes, that's very different. Like, but like, and for me, like, even if no one else I knew was playing Tears of the Kingdom at launch, that wasn't going to stop me. I wanted to play it at launch. Like, that was how it was going to be for me, was with, like, Baldur's Gate 3. Like, it is a shame that I have all these friends who are playing it and enjoying it. But, like, I just talk to them about something else. They're still going to like Baldur's Gate 3 when I get around to it.
Yeah, I'm going to... Oh, my God, dude. I'm going to fucking like Baldur's Gate 3. Dude, I'd be down to fucking play with you.
See, I don't do the multiplayer, like, for a first playthrough. I don't do that shit.
And no, I definitely respect that. I mean, right now I'm doing I have my solo campaign, which I'm about 30 hours into so far. I'm like in the midst of Act 2. And I started a co-op campaign with 2 of my other buddies, which has been interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's probably very different too.
It is different. I will say. Not crazy different, but like notably a different experience.
When you always say that this is the game that will make me appreciate D&D, like there's always a part of my mind where I'm like, yeah, I doubt that. Not because because I like the D&D, the dice rolling mechanics. I like the gameplay of it, the dungeon crawling of it, and all of that. But like the part that makes me not like D&D is the people. And so like this being like a single player game, like I'll probably be able to appreciate Baldur's Gate 3. But
it is D&D alone. It is D&D alone.
Which is what I want. That's how I felt about Xenoblade Chronicles X, where that's MMO alone. And I'm like, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want.
I mean, that's how I feel too, is I just like being able to go buck wild and have full control over like a whole fucking crew. Like, I don't know, there's something about having control of like a gang of people and not just like one person that is really appealing to me in video games. Like I think that's part of the reason why I like Kenshi so much, is because I was able to control fucking 50 people at once and like be really granular about it, like send 2 people this way and like go back to like this base and go back to the other base and just instantly on the fly be jumping and just seeing what everyone's doing and like micromanaging. And I like that, being able to do that in Baldur's Gate 3 as well. And I also will tell you this too, by the way, as like a heads up for you. If you find like, because basically there's like 10 core party members in the single player campaign that you can find. Like 7 or 8 of them are in like the first act. You meet them in like the first like couple hours. If you find like a couple got like, if you find like a gang you like really fucking like, but you're not crazy about their like stats or their class, you can just fucking change them to be whatever the fuck you want them to be. You can't change their race or anything, or like their physical appearance, but you can change their stats and their class and fucking do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, like that sounds great. And I'm definitely looking forward to. I've had this problem with Divinity 2 as well, and with Disco Elysium, where I don't know when I'm going to be in the mood to read and to dice roll. It's not yet. I don't know when it's gonna be.
I will say this. you gotta read, but like you don't gotta read in Baldur's Gate 3. It's a lot of voiced dialogue. Like, but even then, like dialogue.
I don't. You want to know how impatient I am, Sam? Because I wrote this down very specifically. Because this was a moment where I realized that I might have brain damage. Because like when I'm truly interested in something, or I think that the story is going to be good, or at the very least, like I want to really like have an opinion on it. Because like for me, I think the Tears of the Kingdom story was pretty solid. I liked it a lot. I was gripped throughout most of it, and when I finished it, I said that was good. Like I'm not gonna be saying like, man, this is one of the best Zelda stories. It's like, no, they haven't written one of those in 25 years.
Although I gotta be honest with you, dude, the fact that you called this story gripping seems like extremely high praised.
That's true. No, because I actually gave a shit about what was going on all the time. I actually wanted to know what the fuck was happening. And by the time that I got to the end of it, I was like, all right, I'm satisfied that I stuck around with it. Like, it's because it's not. It is genuinely hard for me. I can't think of another
Zelda game story I would call gripping.
Well, it's
like Ocarina of Time is a good narrative. I wouldn't call it fucking gripping
because there's such a good mystery. There's such a good central mystery around that game, and it helps that like the world of that game is probably the most like inexplicable that it's been so far. Like there's something about Lordran that's just gripping because it's so surreal, right? It's so baffling.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would say the same thing about Termina, but Termina is so blatantly surreal. Whereas like the fact that you're like, okay, I know this world, but it's apparently fucked now, and I don't know why. Like that creates a lot of intrigue. But like I did not get the urge to skip any cutscenes in that game. Right, that's the big thing. Every now and then I'll get the urge to just start skipping cutscenes. I felt this way with Stranger in Paradise at certain points, but luckily those cutscenes are like mercifully short. And you're always kind of hoping something funny happens. I started wanting to skip the cutscenes when I realized nothing funny was gonna happen. That was a big like I want to skip the cutscenes moment. I started wanting to skip cutscenes at certain points in Elden Ring, like just because I couldn't fucking take it with the British people. I just couldn't handle it. But for the most part, I think most games. Oh, I wanted to skip cutscenes The Last of Us Part 2, but I couldn't because most of the cutscenes are interactive anyways. You have to walk through them. Isn't that just cruel? Isn't that fucking cruel? That
so
like
fucking cruel.
You can't even enjoy the game on your own terms. You have to engage with the story.
It's actually so funny you say this. I was in the shower like a week or two ago, and I was thinking about how vehemently I hate how in The Last of Us Part 2, there's just 4 different controller variants. The game just is constantly flipping between, and it's like, yeah, you can walk right now and nothing else, or hey, you can walk and point your gun and nothing else, or hey, you can walk and hold the L1 button and you'll go slightly faster, or hey, you can hold the L1 button, you'll sprint like fucking like a goddamn soldier. Like
I think the one that bugs me the most is the fact that they're like, the jump button. We introduced a jump button, and then the characters just have the most pathetic jump of all time. Like
they get like 2 inches off the ground.
They're magnet. It's like a magnet property, and then when you're in front of a ledge, magically they figure out how their legs work again. And it's just like, what? Like, I can't. You're not even gonna let me just have the fun of like hopping around like an idiot, because like Ni no Kuni does that, and it's like barely anything, but it's just nice where when you get bored you can just start hopping around like a moron, and it's something. It's something to do, and they can't even give me that. They truly can't even give me that. But one of the most bizarre moments I ever had with me wanting to skip cutscenes was the beginning of Bombrush Cyberfunk, and I realized while watching the cutscene, and a big part of it, to be fair, was that like I really wasn't expecting like a strong narrative out of it. I think it does have a really cool hook, so I'm glad I stuck with it. But there were the moments where I got really impatient. This is the single most baffling critique I've ever had of any video game's cutscenes. It took too long to cut between scenes. They hang on shots so much longer than they have to, and it's down to like maybe like a millisecond, like a half a millisecond, not half a millisecond, but like what's half of a second, like 0.5 of a second.
yeah, half a second.
Yeah, like half a second to 1 second longer than it needs to be, but it's every single time they cut away.
I think I know why.
Do you think it's because they're emulating Jet Set Radio, like that cutscene pacing?
I was actually going to say it's because it's text only. And I think they linger a little bit to make sure you can read.
Well, no, because
the statement.
This was like during the parts where there's no text, when it's like you're in the jail cell, right? Like, and it's just like establishing shots of the precinct, like that. And the opening
those shots
shot,
they were too long.
Yeah, the opening shot of the police precinct where there's one word and it says police. And it's a big building, and I don't need any more information there. And there's like the slowest, slightest pan. It's like a 5-degree angle pan, and then it just stops, and they make you just sit there with this police precinct. Like I felt like I was watching the elevator scene from Evangelion, just like. Just like, oh, is there artistry to this? Is that what they're doing? And like, at some point, I genuinely thought they might have been trying to replicate like the awkward like Dreamcast era pacing of cutscenes. Like, it reminded me a lot of Sonic Adventure, where you would just have certain scenes that like started too early. They would cut, and then there's the and action cut and the and cut where it's like the scene either starts too early, where it's like someone yells action off screen and then things begin. Normally you cut to right after the word action has been said and action is already occurring on screen. Usually you might even chop off a little bit more of that so that it looks like you're dropping in on a seamless moment. You're dropping in at a very particular point. Whereas like a lot of Sonic Adventure cutscenes is like them standing there and then they'll start running like and then the other one is the and cut, when it's like you could just kind of feel in the pacing of a scene that we should have been on in the next shot. Yeah. And that was like every single shot. I wanted to just skip that cutscene immediately and just start playing the game. And it might have been impatience because it's an action game. It might have been impatience because I didn't care. And that's the thing, like, I think that the world that they've set up is pretty cool. I like that it's, like, a little bit more adult than Jet Set Radio. It's, like, a little bit more, like, violent, a little bit more, like, dystopic in particular. And it's just got a really good, it's just got, like, a really good hook. That game has a great hook. But that opening cutscene, the shot of the police station, I was like, get me the fuck out of here. And I truly cannot remember the last time that at the door I wanted a cutscene to end.
Yeah. It's funny. What I noted about that initial cutscene when I first watched it I'm like, yeah, damn, it's fucking quiet in here. Like, because one of the things in Jet Set Radio Future is that fucking the music is always fucking going. Like, it's always fucking going.
That's
and then on the
quality.
loading screen, it's even going like, like it's like got a little like tape, sort of that like tape winding, like sort of sound. And I'm just like, man, it's fucking quiet here. And I will say, I'm kind of surprised for being a spiritual successor that there's no like DJ Professor K style character.
No, what I will say about as I said, like this game kind of put me off on the spiritual successor, because like I've just kind of accepted that, like, because I'm not the biggest like Jet Set Radio guy. I appreciate the game and I like it, but I've never really felt like I've never connected with the movement in the way that I do with like a Mario 64. I really need to play Tony Hawk. I think I'd connect a lot with Tony Hawk. But like I was kind of hoping like yeah, man, Bombrush Cyberfunk, this will be the version of Jet Set Radio that like I really like connect with, because I think Team Reptile, they have great game feel, especially with Lethal League.
Yeah, Lethal League's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and that didn't really end up being the case at the outset, and I kind of accepted. It's just like, yeah, just because it's a spiritual successor doesn't mean that it's gonna magically like. It's just gonna magically like change what everyone likes about Jet Set Radio to like be like faster, just because all these like trick-based games are faster nowadays. Like there is a part of the appeal of like Jet Set Radio and Future where it's about the tricks, man. Yeah,
and also it's not even necessarily about the tricks in Jet Set Radio Future though. It's about like. It's like a rhythm game, basically. It's just about, like, timing your button presses, because basically there's two trick types in Jet Set Radio Future. It's very fucking basic. There's the quick tricks, and then there's the long tricks. The quick tricks on X, You just go tap, 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 and then like your beat or whatever will go yo, yo, yo as he like fucking hops back and forth on the rail. And that gets you a ×8 multiplier. And then if you do long tricks, that does a ×16 multiplier. And you have to press like boom, 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 boom. And if you lose your timing, you lose your combo ends. So the combo building was just about finding a long enough stretch of rail in a level to hit the amount of points needed in order to get the graffiti soul to pop. And it wasn't really about getting a sort of like high score really, except in the mission mode in the post game to unlock new characters. Where like in Bombrush Cyberfunk, that's where it's a lot more like Tony Hawk, where it's much more about maintaining a combo for as long as humanly possible. And the combo multiplier is incentivized for you to explore the level by grinding on different rails, different billboards.
Yeah, there's a routing element to that game.
Yeah, and what I like too is like in different sections of the level there are like these like little baseball like robot guys.
Yeah, and you have to like I appreciated that you have to hit them all in a single combo. Like the moment you hit the ground, it's over. There's a lot of like stuff in this game that I think like when the time is right and when I'm kind of like ready to come back to it, because I just don't feel compelled to play it.
Yeah, you just gotta go back to it when you're more up.
Yeah, and especially when it's like on sale, because because I was like, yeah, for $40, I don't know if I'm ready for this particular adventure. When I gotta be tight on the belt.
I haven't beaten it yet, but I have no problem supporting Team Reptile. I think 40 might be a little.
You think it's a little high? Yeah,
I think maybe like 30. I think might have been a bit more respectable.
30, but like.
I was thinking, I'll probably be like $25-$30. So when I saw 40, I'm like, yeah, inflation's hitting hard.
Yeah, well, I have no problem with them. Like, again, I was a big like, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, of course it's $70 kind of guy. Like, yeah, of course this game's $40. That makes sense.
I mean, I bought the game for $40 immediately. I didn't really think twice. I just saw it was 40. I was like, okay, and I'm playing it right now, and I'm just, I'll just keep it $1.50. I don't regret spending $40 on it at all. I'm just saying to people out there, if your money's tight, yeah, I'd rather tell you to spend $60 on Baldur's Gate 3 than $40 on this.
Yeah, and I'm not I'm not trying to be a hater about this game. I really like there's nothing about Bombrush Cyberfunk that's worth being a hater about. That happens sometimes. There are some games where I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck this. I'm going in. Like, especially
like Tomb Raider 2013.
Yeah, Tomb Raider 2013. Like, especially on Crackhouse, every now and then I'll kind of come after a game because I think it's funny too. But like when I don't like a game, I'm usually okay just kind of saying like, yeah, here's the problem with it. And that's that. Like, I didn't really like Chaos Theory very much, and I had a lot of very specific problems with it, and then I haven't had a problem with Chaos Theory ever since. I have no issue with people who like Chaos Theory now. Like, I haven't brought it up in a while. That sort of thing. Where, like, Bombrush Cyberfunk is not even one of those games. It's just one of these things where I started it, and I said, I have one thing of content, and I don't need to play anymore for now. I'll get to it. Just to be really clear, but, like, what made me say it put me off the spiritual successor is like I think this is probably the best spiritual successor since Bloodstained, and even then, like if you're not about, because Bloodstained was what, 2018.
Yeah. What? By the way, dude, do you mean Ritual of the Night or Curse of the Moon?
Ritual of the Night, because Curse of the Moon was earlier than that was 2016, I believe. And that game's awesome too. Like
but that's why I asked, because I'm like, both those answers are right, understandable, and I would agree.
Yeah, like, and I wasn't crazy about Curse of the Moon 2. It was a little too wacky for my liking. I like how like kind of hardcore 1 is, where it's like Zangetsu is so mean and so like brutal. And that ending is really like cruel, where it's like you just gotta fucking kill Zangetsu. I mean, and he awakens in a future. And
you gotta play it 4 times. You gotta play it
4 times.
Awesome.
I love that game. It's so sick. Good. But yeah, like, and I was thinking, I can't really think of another spiritual successor that I thought was like really, really awesome. And I would probably say Bombrush Cyberfunk might be like the best spiritual successor, because Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future like definitely have like room to be built on, whereas like Symphony of the Night is already like perfect, And if you don't agree, like, Aria of Sorrow is also there, and everyone kind of regards that game as perfect. Banjo-Kazooie is already perfect. Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Psychonauts are already perfect, so Hat in Time is the most redundant piece of shit ever. And...
Yeah, I looked up because I was trying to, like, I'm like, is there, like, a good list
of, like, these spiritual successor games?
Of these, like, video game spiritual successors, and, like, the Wikipedia page lists some, like, fucking crazy shit, dude. Because it says Piano 3 has been called the spiritual predecessor of Bayonetta.
That is true. That is true.
Is that true?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it used to be called either Jaguar or Panther, which is, like, where the Panther Within ability came from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then it has listed, Yooka-Laylee, of course, because there's games by the same studio, so like Dark Souls is like a spiritual successor to Demon Souls, or like Shadow of the Colossus is like a spiritual successor to Eco, BioShock for System Shock, and then there's Yooka-Laylee, Mighty Number 9, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Yeah, and I specifically mean the like post Shovel Knight era, like that Kickstarter era.
Yeah. Because then they have one that's an interesting, which is called Common Themes Only. So this is shit like how Undertale is like a spiritual successor of Earthbound, even though when you really think about it, they're not even fucking close to the same thing at all.
Not even tonally. Like there's almost nothing. Like Undertale is funny, but like the sense of humor in those games is so different.
There's actually nothing. It's like they both have good soundtracks.
They both
That's what makes
they both have good soundtracks, and they both star a child. Whereas Earthbound stars children, this one stars a child.
Dude, the more you think about comparing them, the worse the comparison.
Well, people also say that about Lisa, and if you want to talk about a poor comparison, Lisa has nothing in common with Earthbound.
Like, because I understand, because it's one of those things where it's like, I understand, like maybe so, like, core, like concepts of, like...
there's the postmodernism element of it, yeah. The setting being, like more contemporary.
But that's not true! That's not true!
Because Undertale's a fantasy story.
Takes place in a hole!
Undertale's a fantasy story, and, like, even when they get to the surface, that's a new world. That's a fantasy world.
Lisa takes place in a fucking post-apocalypse desert, like definitely
you know
far off
you know
from
why those are
suburbia.
spiritual successors, Sam? They vaguely look similar if you have a cataract. Like if you have cataracts, they look similar. But yeah, like Undertale is not a spiritual successor to Earthbound, and I'm sure that Toby Fox was inspired by Earthbound, as everyone on the fucking planet was. But if it's anything, it's just a spiritual successor to Off.
Yeah. How do you feel about Axiom Verge?
I never played it, so I can't really say. But that's a 2015 game. So when we're talking about the timeline of like spiritual successor follow-ups,
yeah, the core main ones are Mighty Number 9, Bloodstained, Yooka-Laylee. Yeah, in my opinion. Those are like the core, the big three.
And like with Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, like I walked away from that game, never really wanting to play it again, but not because I hated it, just because I felt like it did its job and I'd seen enough and I felt okay about it.
And you're right.
Yeah.
It is easily the best of those three.
Yeah, of the three. Well, yeah, very handily.
And it's not even fucking
very
close.
Handily. Where like Yooka-Laylee being the second best of those is the most depressing statement you can make. Because like no one has any love for Yooka-Laylee.
God damn it, dude. I just pulled up a fucking Screen Rant article for top 10 spiritual successors of great games. Dude, fucking number 10 is fucking Balan Wonderworld, and I'm ready to fucking go ballistic, dude. It's not even close to fucking Knights. Balan looks like Knights. The gameplay is not even in the same realm. It's not like this is, by the way, this is the your average gamer IQ, by the way. Yeah. Is this shit? This is the Undertale Earthbound.
Can I actually talk about the moment where I had an I realized the average gamer IQ? Because I'm gonna okay. So, but yeah, just to close out, like I think with Spiritual Successor, they're trying to please the original fans of those games, and like you can't You can't expect them to magically make the game that you want just because it's coming out. Like you gotta meet those games on their terms. They're making a game for the fans. And like,
how do you feel about One Step from Eden? That's the game
I really
that uses
play that game.
the Battle Network.
I really want to play that game, but I think that also came out in like 2017, 2018. So I think again, like on the timeline, Bombrush Cyberfunk is still the best of these like spiritual successors, like since that year. Because I think it came out after. Oh my god, I think it came out after Bloodstained. So yeah, no, one step from Eden.
It was like 2020 or 2021.
Was it really
I want to
that
say
late? Because I thought it was 2018.
I think it might have been early access for
it. Might have been early access. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so the moment where I realized like the average gamer IQ is because like every day I go to the Tears of the Kingdom mod page because I'm so interested in what people are doing. I'm so interested in like what's come out, and a lot of the times it is very disappointing because a lot of the times it's just Breath of the Wild outfit port. We ported the Cloud Strife outfit from the Switch version of Breath of the Wild mod page, and now it's in Tears of the Kingdom.
What?
Like,
okay. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't think that there's any sets besides the woman set from Breath of the Wild that didn't make it into Tears of the Kingdom. I think every outfit is in the game. So a lot of these are like mod ports. Like they ported the Skull Knight armor from Berserk. That was a really popular Breath of the Wild outfit, mod outfit. So a lot of it is model swaps. There's one that's really cool that like adds just all these legacy weapons from previous games. But like this is the level that we're at right now with our mod tools. Like you can do a model port, and then you can put the model in the game, and then you can apply numbers to it. And then you can have it get sold by a Poe statue. Like, you can't, like, put it in a chest somewhere, right? Like, this is where we're at. We can't edit event flows at all. So, like, if you want to, like, edit the Flurry Rush, or if you want to edit the Sage avatars, you can't edit how those are done. You can fuck with their stats, you can model swap them, but you can't improve, like, the UI on that, Like, so that's where we're at. And, like, for me, where I'm not dumb. I'm not gonna say that I understand modding. It has been really cool to like read about these tools, and like anytime there's like a tutorial, I do read about it just because it's interesting. But like, I'm not dumb, I think is what I'm trying to say when it comes to these things. I understand that right now we're limited in what NX editor and what Switch toolbox can look at and can alter. There are some files that we just can't open. It just can't be done, right? And so, like, even with some fucking context clues, you can just read some of these mods, and you can kind of understand, all right, here's the realm we're operating in. I'm going to read a couple mods, okay, that are actually in the game. Champion's undershirt plus bonus pants, which changes the color of the champion's leathers from, like, a dark green to a white to look a little bit more like the champion's tunic. Right, and then it also increases the color of the pants to a white. Led Zeppelin shirt. Dark Souls 1 armor. Which
armor, Oscar?
Yeah, just Oscar the Undead Knight. And it actually puts the Astora's Greatsword in the game.
Interesting.
Over like Urbosa's weapon, I believe. We ported the One Hit Obliterator model into the game. And then we just applied obscene stat values to it, so that it basically works the same. We can turn the sheaths invisible. We can turn equipment on Link's back invisible. Here's a great one. No dragon farming. Since removing the dragon part farming cooldown currently seems impossible, I did the next best thing. Remove the need for them entirely. Like, so you read that, and instantly you're like, all right, shit is early. We have not even invented the water wheel. We don't have electricity out here in the Tears of the Kingdom modding community, okay? The typewriter doesn't exist. We're using wood blocks to print things.
Yeah, dude, you're carving into cave walls. Yeah. You're carving the code into cave walls.
There is no cotton gin. There is no cotton gin, Sam. But then, despite all the clear hints of where we're at in the world of Tears of the Kingdom modding,
every day you can read comments, right?
Oh my god, the mod requests are so insane. They can't do it yet.
Name me a couple of your favorite requests that just seem
I'm gonna find some good
crazy.
Ones. And by the way, there have been a couple of like genuinely impressive ones. We have removed the limit of like what you can build. The 21 parts limit is hard coded, but we have removed like the despawn limit, so you can just like build like 20 different things before they start despawning.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's a really cool one, and I'm actually shocked we could do it. But so the thing about Ultra Hand, the reason that because Yuzu had a performance boost of 80% a month before Tears of the Kingdom released, but it was impossible for that performance boost to work with Tears of the Kingdom because Ultra Hand draws power from the GPU, which is also why the game lags so much when you use Ultra Hand and when you use Ultra Hand builds, because it's offloading some of the power, like the processing power to the GPU. Classic Bitcoin modding or Bitcoin mining. Okay, my CPU's not strong enough. Upload to the GPU. So that's why performance on Yuzu, even though you can get like a perfect 60 on Mario Odyssey, it ain't happening for Tears of the Kingdom yet. It's so GPU intensive.
Wait. Isn't Mario Odyssey a 60 FPS game natively?
Well, you couldn't get that on Yuzu. Like that's how bad shit was for a while with Yuzu.
Oh wow.
Yeah, okay. No, like genuinely, Mario Odyssey would dip down to 40 on Yuzu. Yuzu just got good. Like, you have to understand, how bad it was for a long time.
I gotta be honest, I ain't mad at it. The emulators are complicated.
No,
it took fucking PCXX2 fucking 6-7 years to be awesome, too.
I'm not mad about it either.
Or when I got into it.
You have to understand, how delicate this is, because you see, okay, Yuzu just got an 80% performance boost. Tears of the Kingdom, easiest game in the world to run. Easiest, right? No. Because the GPU, power drain is a problem now, and Yuzu they haven't made the architecture to deal with that yet. So again, you should be doing your homework if you're going to make mod requests, if you're going to ask about emulators and stuff. And I totally had some scrub talk with this where I was unprepared for how bad Yuzu was when I got SMT 5 running the first time, where there are no videos that explain how to get the performance on that game to look like how it looks, and most people were touting it it runs at 60 natively automatically. No, that on certain machines, yes, that's the hitch. That's the part that no one tells you, and that was why I was so mad, because every article I found was on low end PCs it gets a 6. I was what's the problem? Yeah. Why aren't I getting that shit?
Yeah, but and also too now, Miles, you have a 4080.
Yeah, no,
right?
SMT 5 is done. It's over. That game is running at 144 because the frame rate is uncapped. The frame rate's uncapped, Sam.
Damn, he's cooking, man. Oh my god, dude.
I'm fucking cooking.
Fucking
and by the way, Sam, After Effects still has memory issues. I have 64 gigabytes of memory, and After Effects is still dude, you're using too much. You're using too much.
You gotta upgrade to 256 gigabytes of RAM. You need 64 gig sticks.
Yeah, I was thinking I'll just see how 128 does for me. And then if it's still bad enough, I'll get to 256, because otherwise I'm never going to use that much power, Sam. It's never going to happen. After Effects is the only program on the planet that asks this of me. Everything else, you have to understand, 64 gigabytes is overkill. It's an overkill for everything.
No, I know. You don't gotta tell me. You don't gotta tell me.
And After Effects is bruh, can you please, can you spare a little bit of memory, please? I noticed it allocates 6 gigabytes of memory for every other application, and that leaves me with 56 gigabytes of RAM, and it's still telling me, bro, this ain't enough,
bruh.
Fucking After Effects, dude. But yeah, so with that said, we understand what the deal is with Yuzu performance wise. We understand what our tools are, what we can and can't do. There are excellent tutorials explaining what we can do. You can read them if you want. They're very easy to read before you make your request about what you want in the game. But so one thing is that if you want to move enemies, you have to do it manually. You have to enter their coordinates manually. So you got to find where the enemy spawns in. And you gotta enter new coordinates for the enemy, and then delete the coordinates for the old enemy. So there is a very impressive,
I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it sounds fucking annoying, but it doesn't sound...
And here's the thing, there's a genuinely impressive mod that already has replaced, like, so many enemies in the game, like, with, like, really high-end difficulty enemies. Like, there's one area on the map that has 3 Gleeoks next to each other, like... and I almost want to play it, but I'm kind of like, maybe I shouldn't, because it's not done yet, so I also want to wait until it's done. But, like, I tried a bit of it, like, there were silver bokoblins riding bears, wielding, like, dragon horn weapons. I was like, this kind of rules, but it's not done, so I'm gonna wait on it. But yeah, so considering how annoying that is, of course you get add enemies in temples, of course. And it's like, yeah, just remove all the enemies and replace them with fire enemies, because I'm a brain dead baby, and I miss when Zelda was so painfully themed that the enemies just didn't matter. It didn't matter if the enemy was completely worthless. I miss when the fire temple had fire enemies. Now, I understand that constructs are actual good enemies, and every fire-based enemy in this game is lame in comparison, but I just need more red on the screen when I'm in the fire temple.
Just a couple more fire keys in level 3.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can we just get a couple more fire keys?
Can we get a mod to tighten up the graphics?
Yeah. So that's a good one. That's a really classic one. And some of these I'm gonna say are relatively, like, reasonable. Like, someone wants a rebalance of ice weapons. That's doable. I know for a fact that's doable. Oh yeah, mobile likes. Yeah, can you just make likes move? Can you just give them pathfinding AI and make it so that in any situation where they spawn in normally, they're able to navigate the room perfectly? Can you make them move? Because I really miss how they used to be in old Zelda games, because I can't give up on the past. And I know that they redesigned these enemies to function in the open world, and they're pretty good this way, but, like, can you just make a move? Even though they're going to be in caves, and they're not going to be able to find their way around, and they're not going to know where to go, and pathfinding's really hard. Can you just make the enemies move? So, of course, like, by the way, and then all the comments are people who are like, I can't wait to see this happen. Like, people who are just really, like, in support of it. But then the bounties are pathetic. Like, you get,
but it's like $5.
You get 90 points you get 90 points to make magic happen, to be a fucking programming genius and to completely revamp an enemy. We can't even open the event flow folder, Sam. We can't do it. People who want to make shortcuts for the sage abilities, we can't even do that. We can't alter the number of hits in a flurry rush. We just can't do it.
Dude, all the cool shit you'd actually want to do, you can't.
Not yet, no. So it's a lot of, like, model swaps, which is fine, and a lot of, like, numbers tweaks. All of that's very fine. Yeah. I'm trying to find another one, because there's some real there's some real gems. There's some real gems. Oh yeah, Han. No, that one's not as entertaining. I need to find.
While Myles looks for more funny things, I'll talk about some other bullshit I did this week while you're pulling some horrible fucking gamers don't know shit about video games.
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I found a good one that is not like a real. There's a weird like subgenre of people who like because Nintendo fans are babies. Like there's a weird subgenre of like mods that kind of like smooth out any aspect of the game that might be offensive to people.
Oh yeah, like weapon breaking?
No, I mean that exists, but I mean like someone was like, I don't want the word pray in the game. I consider it sacrilege. Can you remove the word pray from goddess statues? And someone was nice enough to do it. Like that person got roasted, and like I think they're Muslim, like, so you know how those guys are. Those fucking weirdos. That's a joke, by the way. Muslims are fine. but yeah, like, so you have stuff like that, or you'll have people who are like, yeah, can you remove Link's pronouns? It makes me feel dysphoric that Link is canonically a male. I wish they would use they, them. And there's like this one modder who, like, God bless them, like, they actually are like the sole LGBTQIA plus, like, Tears of the Kingdom modder. Like, if someone says that and they just get fucking roasted into oblivion, they'll actually do it because it's really easy to do, but also they are an ally and they care. And so they're the one person where if you're gay and you have a problem with Zelda, they'll fix it. They got your back. They're the fucking gay gunslinger of the modding world. But there's this one that I hadn't seen, which was change models for Froxes and Bubble Frogs. Hi, I have ranidophobia, fear of frogs and other amphibians, and it's making it hard for me to enjoy the game. It's impossible to get a mod changes the models of Froxes, Bubble Frogs, and the other frog creatures. It can be swapped to anything you guys want. I just don't want to see frogs and almost have panic attacks when playing this fantastic game. Like, so that, dude, that happens.
Nintendo fans are fucked.
Yeah, like, dude, it's fucking over for you. It's actually over for you.
You're actually you're actually a different breed of fucked Nintendo fan. Because you're on Game Banana right now. You got to know where you are. You're a certain level of fucked in the head Nintendo fan.
Like because the Nexus page for this game is like, for some reason no one uploads to it, even though it's the same. There's no difference between the two, and it doesn't matter. But like, people will really just be like, yeah, I'm only going to upload to one of these websites.
I don't really get that either, because the Sonic community is kind of like that too. Like, a lot of the Sonic stuff has moved over to Game Banana.
Yeah, and maybe it's an issue of like the points values or something.
Yeah, maybe the points actually do mean shit. Who knows?
maybe this ain't this ain't whose line is it anyway? Yeah, no, people are asking like, yeah, can you just revamp the combat entirely? You just remake it entirely. There's so many that are just like, what are you doing? Yeah, climb, jump over normal climb animation. Which basically means anytime that you press up on a cliff, you're just automatically jumping up it. Because options are bad, I guess.
What do they want to jump it with no stamina?
Yeah, it's like what are you gonna do at the start of the game when you can't manage that? Yeah. Oh my god, there are some that I see that the like one is the worst. Where I'm like, are you kidding? There's no way that you actually just asked for that.
A lot of the likes are on walls.
Exactly.
Like that's what's so funny.
You understand like how hard that is? Oh yeah, someone bring back the Guardians. And so the thing is, Tears of the Kingdom is in a new engine, and there are no Guardian files in the game. So, like, we can't bring them back. It's not, you can't do it. And people are like, but it's the same game. You can just bring them back. You can just bring them back. Like, just, it's so funny. It's just so funny seeing people, like, just not even be able to use context clues to be like, oh, this can't be done yet, can it?
Yeah, it's God. Oh God, dude. It's people are.
Yeah, there was one that was like add dark nut enemies into the game. It's like, what do you think we're doing here, man? We model swap Pepe the Frog into the game. Like, you really think we're there?
Yeah, well, we can just add a new enemy. We can add the fucking Dark Nuts from Twilight Princess. Always, just casually chuck those guys in there. That's always
what it is. It's like, yeah, just use the Twilight Princess model. It's like, I don't think you understand what you're asking.
Just have these most realistic looking.
There's a ton of like Twilight Princess ports, and like they don't even texture them again. Which, and by the way,
I'm sure it looks cursed.
We can't do that. The most we can do is use an in-game texture that already exists that vaguely looks like the texture we want. We can't affect like the sheen of textures, right? Like, so if you want to make like a metallic armor, and there's no like metal that you want in the game, just can't do it. We're just not able to do it yet.
Fuck you. Tough shit.
And people are still asking like, yeah, can you can you add Baronade from Ocarina of Time into the game? Can you just put him in the field somewhere? Can you replace Muktarok with Baronade from Ocarina of Time? Just program a new boss, please.
because I really like Ocarina of Time, and I really like that boss, and I would just like you to put it in the game. You can have $2 if you do it.
Can you add Volvagia as a mini boss in Death Mountain, please?
Can you put Volvagia in the game? If you do, I'll give you $5. Do you want $5 to have one of the most nightmarish?
Can someone mod in the hook shot? I really miss it.
That is requested a lot. People always ask for the hook shot. People are asking for the hook shot a lot. It's like, you can build a rocket, dude. Why do you want the hook shot in this game? just build a fucking helicopter, dude. Why do you want the hook shot? It's so funny.
Stupid fucking goddamn
fuckers. Yeah. No, the very specific breed of Game Banana Nintendo fans. And it seems like Sonic Forces is one of the most like modded games, and there's a lot of really sick mods for Sonic Forces.
Sonic Forces mods are really interesting because I think they do notably improve the game, but that game is just so fucked at its core that there's like, it's not like Sonic 06 where like people actually no, that's not true because P06 is like a totally different game.
Sorry, what was that? I think I said Sonic. I meant to say Sonic Frontiers.
Frontiers mods are crazy. Yeah. Forces mods are also crazy, but a lot of Forces mods exist to improve, try to improve.
That was my
bad.
I meant to say Frontiers because Frontiers has a really nice modding scene. And there's some really sick ones like. And obviously, I still haven't played Frontiers.
Well, you should wait a few more months because
the final DLC,
the Tails Knuckles
is coming out, right?
Yeah, dude. It's coming out in September 26th, I think.
Yeah, like there's some really cool ones, but even then you get Bandana Waddle Dee over Sonic, which I just found.
Yeah, fucking brings rolling around at the speed of sound to a whole new context.
I'm enjoying some of these mod requests. McQueen over Sonic.
All the momentum mods are really.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like
for Sonic
with Sonic, that game is so easy to, well, not easy, but it can. One of the main things you can do to improve it, is just if you have a problem with momentum or you have a problem with some movement element, you make a mod that kind of changes up the movement of that game, and all of a sudden you've fixed, well, not fixed, but you've altered so many aspects of the game.
A lot of that stuff actually made its way into the previous, the DLCs now. So one of the options in the controls menu is I think it's called air deceleration or something like that. If you knock that shit all the way fucking to the bottom or close to the bottom, you basically get momentum. Where if you keep your speed in the air, if you fucking go super fucking fast and fly off a fucking cliff or something, you'll keep all your speed now if you knock that down, which is pretty cool.
It's really sick, and so that's a game where mods especially probably do a lot of good for that, whereas Tears of the Kingdom, a lot of mods are nice to haves, but we can't do anything that people are really requesting, and then even then half the requests are fucking stupid, so it doesn't matter. I was hoping to get a mod that kind of lowers the number of hits you get on Flurry Rush, or is able to disable the Flurry Rush entirely, because Flurry Rush is fun, but I would rather play without it personally at this point in my life, and we can't do that. It's just not possible.
Why isn't it possible? Why isn't it possible?
Because we can't open the event flows folder. We don't know how to do it. We can, however, make the ascend animation the Superman flying up animation. No, there's some cool ones. There's one that makes when you cancel ascend, it makes Link do the Kingdom Hearts game over, floating in the air thing. He's reclining. I have that one in because why not? No, it really does go to show you when someone says Balan Wonderworld is Knights, they're probably on this page making requests
they fucking requested likes to move.
The likes that are attached to walls and ceilings.
Dude, free roaming Gleeok.
That's actually probably possible. We actually can remove or at least alter leashing in the game. We are able to make enemies who follow you farther.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a lot with enemies. It's just that no one wants to, other than to like completely neuter them and make them pathetic
and make the game
yeah,
unfun.
no. Well, there's this guy who's doing some really sick mods for enemies, like beefing up like he's not just beefing up HP, but he'll also like make some of their attacks unblockable, or like things like that. Like Aracudas, you can't like parry them or shield from them anymore. So, and he's like also just made them dive bomb like way more. Just there's some really cool things that are just like we're able to do it with the limited tools that we have. But yeah, and then the other half of the mods are people who are like, yeah, I think this is too hard. Can you make it less hard for me, please?
For me, please.
Yeah, can you
Can I get an easy mode, please?
Can you make it so you just never take damage, please? I don't like making
Myles.
mistakes in video games.
I don't like having to redo 2 minutes of content that I fucked up.
Oh no.
God forbid, dude. God forbid I gotta replay fucking content.
Why would that
dude.
happen?
God
forbid you
fucking
learn.
bid,
You're expected to learn from your mistakes. Just make
I
it so
know,
I never
it's
make
so
them.
embarrassing.
Just can you mod the game so I never am wrong?
Dude, unironically, and then those people will go on Twitter and act like they're fucking hardcore gamers. Okay,
Yeah,
buddy.
I always feel this way with like I'm sorry, Sam, but like most Souls fans who are like, yeah, these games are so hard. Like, you're just bad at video games.
No,
you're
they're
just bad
not.
at games. Like
They're
these games are really
not
understood.
hard.
And like and that's the funny thing is like
They're
they have
not
to like
hard.
believe this lie that these games are super hard because it makes them think that they're good at games when they're not. Yeah, you're just bad at games.
They're not hard. There's some boss fights in Dark Souls 3 that are hard. There's like
And
4
that's
or
great,
5 of them.
like-
3 of them are in the fucking goddamn DLC. Like, it's not like dude, Nameless King is not hard. He's not hard. Like
He's just not.
people
you
gotta
just can't
chill the
win
fuck
at
out,
him
like-
instantly, and that's what people deem as hard. If I didn't die the first time,
just stick with it for like
not like
a few
it's
tries.
Not even, it's not
like,
even going to take you a half hour, man. It's going to take you 20 minutes. Like most Elden Ring bosses, I was able to take down in like 10, 15 minutes. 3, 4, 5 tries.
Same.
Like, yeah. And
a little longer for like a handful of them. Like some of them, like the guy, like I don't know what it was on my second playthrough, but the snake fucker, Rickard or whatever his name is.
I know who you're talking about, but
I like just couldn't fucking
which is
do
funny
it
because that's one of
like,
the easier
on my
bosses in the
second-
game. Like according to people,
I did it on my first try on my like
it
vanilla
might be a build
playthrough,
thing.
on my
It might
very
be a
first
build
playthrough.
thing.
But it's not though. You pick up the serpent piercer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I was just like, I was like, what the fuck is my problem?
See, because I was thinking you might
Why-
have just been trying to like do a challenge of like, yeah, I'm not going to use the serpent piercer because you probably can, right? Is my guess.
Dude, I mean, I wouldn't want to do
Because
it.
you can do that with
I just-
Storm Ruler in Demon Souls, but it's way less fun.
Oh yeah, you can also. Whoa! In Demon Souls,
yeah,
you can
the
beat
Storm
him
Ruler.
without-
You can beat it. You just have to use spells and arrows.
Oh, I guess you could beat him with spells. You'd have to probably do it last.
You would have to
probably
do it last, yeah.
Shrine
Yeah,
4
which is
last,
not too tough.
And max out your
Yeah,
magic.
not too tough, but
I think you could. I guess you could do. Oh, you know what? I forgot that you get an FP regenning ring in Demon Souls because like Demon Souls
It's for babies,
doesn't
yeah.
care about Demon Souls doesn't fucking give a shit.
that's
at
what
all
that's their
about fucking
that's
anything.
their least balanced video game. It's really funny.
It's awesome. Demon Souls is so fucking easy. It's great. It's like such a fucking
I
blast.
like that Demon Souls is like both kind of the most original Souls game, and it's also like embarrassingly easy. Like it just shows like that game is so cute. Game is adorable.
It is. It really is. It is one of those things where it does like it when you do play like the later Souls games and like that's like what you get used to and you go back to it. Like it just doesn't hit quite the same, but I do appreciate
I think,
it's more.
yeah, I think the
like,
weirdness,
it's more goofiness. It's more
the
goofy
experimentalness
elements.
of it, like that hits. But like even then, it doesn't feel as novel because you just have certain bosses where the only thing novel about the boss is that the Souls games don't do it like that anymore. Whereas previously, like in the original Demon Souls, like every boss well, like when that was the only one. Every boss in that game was like the most weird, novel thing because they were all so strange.
Yeah. And there's maybe like 3 like somewhat straight on fights.
Yeah,
in
it's
that
like
game.
Penetrator, False King of Land, and Flame Lurker.
Flame Lurker. There was one more I was going to include.
Old
too.
Monk.
Old Hero.
Yeah,
Old
Old
Hero's got a
Hero's-
gimmick. There's a gimmick where
The
you
Thief's
can,
Ring.
since he's
Yeah.
blind, you can use Thief's Ring, but which is fun. I like
Yeah,
shit
that's
like
cute.
that. And some of the other in like the later Souls games have elements like that too. In some of the bosses.
I'm trying to. There's one in
But
Bloodborne.
in Demon's Souls,
There's
it's
one
like
in Bloodborne with
it's a big
the
thing.
music box and
Oh yeah, against Gascoigne.
Yeah, and there's a couple of those that have like little cute exploits, but yeah, I mean for the most part. Well, to be fair, the music box makes Gascoigne harder, but still, it's cute. It's adorable.
It's but yeah, the games are not. People just gotta chill out. People are get way too in their fucking heads when they're playing Souls.
I think it truly is an identity thing where people really feel like they gotta say these are harder than they are, so that when they finish it, they feel good about doing it. Which you could just feel good about doing it because it's something you set your mind to do, and you did it.
It's no, but like people are making the games like the games are becoming hard for people because they like, you understand what I'm saying? Like they're getting themselves fucking hyped up about the fucking difficulty that they can't just fucking see it for what it is, which is a fucking game. Like you know, we're like fucking like Asylum Demon has fucking 2 attacks or whatever. He's got fucking like 2 or 3 attacks. Like just dodge the goddamn fucking attacks and attack in between and like chill and dot button mash.
It's punch out. Like Super Bunny Hop said it well. It's punch out.
Yeah, just like don't fucking button mash, dodge, hit in between your dodges, and that's how you win in Dark Souls.
It's always something I point out with Elden Ring, where Elden Ring is either the easiest Souls game or the hardest Souls game. And there's no consensus. First of all, it's not the easiest. It's Demon Souls, but no one's played Demon Souls, so people will say Elden Ring if like that's the last down the line. Like I personally think that Elden Ring has the potential to be the hardest Souls game because the enemy design is really fucked. Like every enemy in that game is mega overtuned, but it also has the potential to be the easiest because you have so much control over your build where like you don't even have to have a reasonably built character. You can have a character who optimizes one single move and that move does 1 billion damage and you win. And that's how all these games kind of are. But like there's no consensus on whether or not that's the easiest and the hardest one. And it's because the difficulty is just kind of about how you process the game and how you see the game. Like if you're like me and like you really want to go toe to toe with these enemies, like Elden Ring is really fucking tough because unless you're playing safe, the enemies are just better than you all the time. But you could build a character who doesn't even have to engage in combat because they have a move so powerful that it ends the fight in a single hit. And for a lot of people who are really good at building characters, like that's fun, and that's great.
My fucking flame fucking sword wielder on my fucking file I actually beat, where you beat the snake guy I was bitching about, and you give up their boss soul or whatever. You get this fucking flame greatsword that you use its weapon art, and it fucking you do by the power of fucking Grayskull and shoot fucking a lava beam at people from like 20 meters away.
Yeah, and I'm sure it does.
And it does 1,000
I'm sure it does
damage.
more than enough.
Like,
and again, if you wanted to make a build around that weapon, you give a larval tear to the fetish lady, and you respec yourself to...
You respec, and that's exactly what I did, because I was like, this thing's fucking awesome. And also, I got sick of using spells, so I wanted to use Faith Miracles.
Well, dude, spells suck in Elden Ring.
Miracles are more interesting.
Miracles are more
fun.
balanced. They actually like Glintstone Pebble is just obscene in Elden Ring. It's just the only spell that's ever worth using.
Glintstone Pebble's actually so good that it's still worth having Glintstone Pebble plus a like meteor, like the meteor.
It's actually Glintstone Pebble is consistently the only like one of 2 or 3 S tier intelligence spells. It's the first one. Because I'm gonna be honest, I think
just does good damage and less fucking FP, and you don't have to worry, and like there's no FP regen.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think that like I don't think it's like Miyazaki was stupid and he missed it. Like, no, I think that the intent was he wanted there to be a relatively resistance-free character type for people to see the credits. And like having a character where you can just glintstone pebble to the end, like, yeah, you know, spit your truth, man.
It's one of those things where it's like like the other spells are there to just more to like look fucking
and
sick.
If you want to
like and be
and if you want to
cool,
build
like,
a character around a certain spell, like you can, because I know a lot of people who build
or like a spell type. Like that's kind of what I like about Elden Ring.
You have like the carry
like
spell types, which are cool.
Yeah, like or like the gravity spell types. I think is really interesting.
Effect. And obviously it starts at S, but can't be like it doesn't scale. Yeah,
it can't upgrade. You can't upgrade it, but you can get it so fucking early that you can use it for most of the game and be totally fine with it.
And again, if you are a gravity player, like there you go. Like that's what is so like that's why I wish I liked that game more, because like the build stuff. And this is why I'm really excited for Baldur's Gate 3 whenever I feel like playing it. Is like I like build-based games. I always have trouble finding like a really fun build-based game that like stays fun, where like the build is fun for me to the end.
Yeah, because like what's really dope about Baldur's Gate 3 is so like you only level up 11 times.
That's awesome.
You max out at level 12, and dude like and like the late. So basically how it works is that like every like. When you level up, you can either continue leveling up your current class, or you could like multi-class if you want to go that route. But if you multi-class, you can't get access to the higher levels of your primary class. So like for example, like at level 6 as a storm sorcerer, or just as a sorcerer, you get a bunch of bonuses for your sorcerer subclass that you picked at level 1. And so like I picked a storm sorcerer because I like lightning spells and I think that's cool and I wanted to fly around. And like I get to level 6 and I unlock like fucking 3 different fucking spells, and I get a bunch of bonuses now whenever I cast lightning damage because I leveled up. Like leveling up's like huge. In this game, the difference between like one level to the next is pretty substantial. And respecking is fucking pittance. It's fucking pennies. It's like 100 gold. It's nothing. So you can constantly just fuck around and do whatever you want, really, and make whatever collection of characters you want and how to play it. That sounds awesome. I love build crafting. I fucking love build crafting. And my thing with Elden Ring is that just the core experience is just so fucking long.
Yeah. And it's also like you either like beeline the shit out of your build to the point where you get to play the entire game with your build, but like even then, at some point you kind of plateau out and you realize, oh, I have optimized one move and I've used said one move for 40 hours. Or you like really go slow and you take your time and you really build towards your build. At which point though, like if you don't know what content to take on, you're just kind of slowly like playing the game in a suboptimal way where you are not playing how you want to play yet. And you're just searching everywhere and doing everything, and you can only use 15% of anything that you find. And the game, like you just spend a lot of time not playing the version of the game that you want to play, and it's a bit, it's a conundrum. It's the conundrum of freedom that every open world game has, and sometimes you are fine with it, and sometimes you're not. Whereas like with an RPG, that's got a really like tight structure usually.
Yeah, it's Elden Ring is tough because like I as someone who like fucking loves Dark Souls 3, like one of my big hangups with that game is like someone who replayed it a ton was like that exact thing of like because some sections of the game you just couldn't fucking access until you beat 70-80% of it. Like I remember like one of my favorite builds I did in Dark Souls 3 was like a Murakumo blade fused with darkness and I was mixed with like pyromancy. It was like a fucking awesome, super fucking sick, really fun build. But it took basically I only had like 3 or 4 bosses left by the time I was like fully said and done with it. So I had to go use it New Game Plus and do a run through of New Game Plus, which was fun. That's ideal. Which still was awesome and still fun. But it's one of those things where like with Elden Ring, like that's a game like, and it's kind of how I approach Dark Souls 1 now, where it's like, if I'm gonna replay Dark Souls 1, I'm just gonna fucking play it, and I'm gonna play it for like 8.5 hours, and I'm gonna fucking do like what I want to fucking do, and I'm gonna take my sweet ass fucking time. I'm not gonna give a fuck about anything. Like, I'm just gonna fucking play and have fun, and like that's what I'm gonna do in Elden Ring when I replay it.
And it's
like, I'm just gonna
don't
pick
bother
a class
with the caves, man. You don't have to do the caves.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do like some of them.
You'll do the caves
like,
that are interesting.
Some of them. I'll just like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm just gonna play and I'll like go through the map and like take my time, and it'll be like a 50-hour playthrough.
Yeah, I
like,
think my problem is that I always really like to do everything. I mean, because I'm more of an open world like appreciator type person, but most open world games are.
I really resent that you say that.
No, because the problem is that
you don't like 95% of open world games, and then you're like, well, 95% of open world games suck. It's like, well, maybe can you just acknowledge that you like 4
I was about to say, I always
games
acknowledge that I only like 4, but like, my thing is that like, I really like open world games, and I have no problem with the amount of them that exist. Like, my issue with the amount that exist is that most of them just aren't very good. And like, my proposal for the AAA industry is like, scale back, make your live service games or your linear campaigns or whatever, and like leave open world games to the people who are like, not only they have like a really strong vision of them, but like they have the infinite funds to make them really great. Like, like, and even the people who don't, like, FromSoft probably doesn't have the infinite funds necessary, but like they clearly made an impressive, incredible like open world game. Probably like through a lot of really smart development. Like, I know they made a lot of algorithms.
It's so good. It's so good. I fucking love the fucking
it's really like, it's actually genuinely impressive, like how, because you know what, there is a lot of recycled assets. I think that there's like a couple of like examples of like too many like, oh shit, I've already seen this, like I've already been here. It doesn't feel nearly as I don't really know. That shit never really bothered me when I actually like played through the game though. Like, it didn't really the caves are the same. No, I had no problem with
like
the caves being the same. Like, I didn't have like a huge problem with that per se. Like, it got old when I started seeing the same layouts, but I also understood like that technology, they already had that with. Yeah.
And by that, I just mean the sub-dungeon archetypes being like the caves, the tombs, the heroes' graves. They're all like basically
my big problem
like
was the room layouts ended up being the same. But then I also realized like, okay, well, they had that from the Chalice dungeons. That technology is already available to them. Of course, they're just use it again. It's efficient. It makes sense. It was more like I would be like, oh, okay, cool, another set of tombstones, 17 more sets of tombstones. Okay, cool. I've already seen this pack of enemies in this arrangement back there.
Yeah, or like how the greatsword graveyard is in like 5 or 6 different places on the map. I can kind of understand.
I like, because like, if it was more for the like, if I liked the builds and the enemies more, like, I genuinely think I would say like Elden Ring is the most impressive, and I still would, is the most impressively versatile open world game. And so like, that's a case of like, even though I don't even like that game all that much, like I don't like playing it, because I have an admiration for it and I have respect for it. So that's why I say like I'm a fan of open world games, where like, I'm not the kind of person, and I think I'm comparing myself to people who will be like, open world games, like they'll never be as good as a linear campaign. I really like linear campaigns, are always better because you can curate the shit out of them. Like, I'm not one of these people who thinks like, I disagree. I think open world games are actually like the greatest potential that video games have. It's just, I think that they're really hard to make. And I think a lot of people don't put their focus.
I just find it fucking fun. Like, I just find it very
It's funny that I say this.
That because they're so fun. It's like there's so like many that I just find it funny to see you fucking LARPing as an open.
Well, that's the thing. There's
game.
like there are. what I really don't like are like the Ubisoft ones. I really don't like the Ubisoft ones.
And I mean, I don't like those games either, which I like understand.
But like, for example,
understand.
like
it just
with
is like
Just Cause
funny.
and shit. Like Just Cause, I know I'll fucking love those games. I know I'll love those games. That's free.
Yeah, Just Cause is dope.
That shit's free. The thing is, there's just not all that many open world games that are like truly open world. There's a lot of open sandbox games. There's a lot of like wide open sandbox games, and I happen to like a lot of sandbox games.
Yeah, like fuck, what game was I gonna fucking? I was just about to fucking bring up some fucking open world game, but
Saints
yeah, it's just like
4.
No, but it's just like if I got on here talking about like how I'm such a big fan of real time strategy and I've only played fucking Kenshi and the Pikmin trilogy. I feel like that's really disingenuous. I really love all of those games.
I think you're allowed to say that you're a fan of RTSs if you've liked every RTS you've played.
I did, but I just feel like it's disingenuous to me to call myself a RTS fan.
I said,
if that's all
didn't I say I was an open world
like,
guy? I didn't say that I was a fan. I think I said I was an open world guy. Where like I'm down for some open world game.
Enjoyer.
No, I wouldn't even say enjoyer because I can't even say that I enjoy them all. Like I just think that I'm. And by the way, if I did say fan, please call me a clown in the comments and in the Discord. Like I totally earned that. But like what I meant is like I'm a guy who's down for the open world. Like if you're like, yeah, this game's gonna be open world, there's a lot of people who like roll their eyes and they don't want to hear it, and I'm like, oh, it's an open world, okay, let's see what you got. Come on, see what you got.
I just don't like, I just feel like the open world. All right, let's break this down. So it's Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Phantom Pain, Death Stranding.
Like, and these are the ones that I really enjoy playing, and then the ones that
I feel like those games have other great or fantastic qualities that bring you. Like, I don't feel like the games being open world is like the reason you like them.
But I think it is because I really like the format of the open world game. I really like the open world format. And I will try any open world game. And then the reason I don't like certain open world games is because the mechanics in the open world suck. It's not because I don't like the open world itself. Like, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, is that I don't have a problem with the format.
There's 2 open world games I really want you to play. I really want you to give the fucking college try. You gotta play Arkham City.
I would probably like Arkham City.
If you want to play Arkham Asylum, if that's like something that interests you, you can.
I genuinely think I would. And like, I know that the combat's not going to be for me. I'm fine with that.
Arkham Asylum's a good game. Just like if you don't like it, you should still play
it's different.
City.
It's in a different format.
It's different enough. It's much more like kind of like hub based.
Yeah, like that's the kind of like the GTA. Like I this is a terrible term, but like the open city game where like the whole point of it is infrastructure.
Yeah,
where the open world is not literally a big ass field. It's streets. There are streets and there are rooftops and like you can traverse the rooftops but like the city structure really dictates the like how you move through the open world.
Yeah, definitely in Arkham City for sure. Arkham Asylum is like again a bit more spread out, and there's like a courtyard and like 5
that's more
key areas, basically.
That's more like Resident Evil like 2 remake or something along those lines.
Asylum gets compared a lot to like Metroidvania, where like you go to a section, you get something which you can use to advance in another section. You get something, you go back, like. Sort of, you kind of jump around all over Arkham Asylum.
I meant Village. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I meant Village.
Oh no, it's
it's
fine.
Yeah.
It's that game I'd like to get your opinion on, and then another WB open world game would be really interesting.
Oh, I do like Shadows of Mordor.
The Mad Max game.
I heard
from
that game's
Avalanche.
actually good.
I don't know why I think you'd probably fuck with
I
that
hear
game.
it's kind of just the Phantom Pain. Like people have said it's kind of the same thing, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like a mix of like car combat with some like Arkham style close quarters sort of rhythm based combat, and who knows, you might actually you might find something with the
I don't think I'm going to dislike it. I think
it's a different kind of action. It's not really like it's much more like a rhythm based.
Yeah, when I say it's not for me, like I think it's going to be a case of like, because I know a lot of people think that is like the greatest combat system ever made. I don't think I'm going to be there. But like with combat, like I generally don't mind like functional okay combat. I think I really mind when it's like combat that's like licensed movie game tier.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I feel like, because I feel like a lot of games before Arkham Asylum kind of came out with its sort of system, like a lot of third person melee games just felt very like sloppy unless it was like a dedicated core action game like Devil May Cry or something.
So that game having like solid functional combat on top of a lot of other things like is really novel.
Yeah, and I actually would say I'd actually say it's like a few steps above like solid. I'd actually say it's pretty fucking high quality. Especially, and then it gets even better, and it's like okay in Asylum. It's like solid, like good base. Like even better in City, and then it gets just fucking awesome in Night. I replayed Night like probably I think 2 years ago, just kind of like on a whim because I just like wanted to see. And dude, we are way too fucking easy on video games nowadays, because I remember when
that game got savage.
Arkham Knight came out. We fucking savage, dude. That game released today. It blows past like probably like 85-90% of the shit that released this year, and this is
I remember that Mad Max game got savaged too, and unfortunately it was just a really unfortunate release date. It came out on the same day as the Phantom Pain, and so there was that direct comparison, especially because a lot of the critics who are probably moving on to Mad Max, or who were asked to play Mad Max, they might have actually been forced to play Mad Max, been at the Konami boot camp where they were forced to play Phantom Pain for 48 hours.
Yeah, and then had to get shipped back to play a fucking Mad Max.
That's a really that's just an unfortunate circumstance.
It also didn't help that Mad Max Fury Road, a fucking award fucking winning film, like released 4 months prior, and that game is not on that level.
Yeah, it's one of the most unfortunate storms of like this game never had a chance. But it's always funny, like when like the reputation that games get forever. Because I remember talking about this with like the Metacritic score for Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like at the time it was 95, and I was like, are fucking idiots in the future going to be like, yeah, that game was worse than Breath of the Wild because it has a 95, even though in terms of pure score, well, actually it is below it now on OpenCritic. So officially, the game is worse than Breath of the Wild. Officially, we can declare it. But like. All it takes is like one bit of bad information for like a game to kind of like forever be seen as this like terrible thing. Because like God Hand reviewed relatively okay at launch, like the three.
Yeah, it's just the IGN review. That's the only outlier.
Most of the other ones are like 7s. It's like fine. And then people say it was a big old flop because it only sold 60,000 copies, and Atsushi Inaba was like, "We only needed 30,000 to break even." It kind of sold twice as much as we needed. Like that's all it takes is one bad review and like a number that people don't have the information for like how much it means. And that's that. Like you hear again, FF16 sold 4 million copies. Anyone else would tell you that's a huge success. Yeah, exactly. Except for Square Enix. Where like that's kind of all it takes is like perception and reality. Again, Death Stranding's a flop because it had a 70% drop off on its second week of sales. It sold 10 million copies. Yeah, it took 3 years, but it still sold 10 million copies.
Freaking out about that kind of stuff, or people online who get like super in a tizzy about that shit. Like you don't.
No, I think it's so interesting how like people will not only just lie, but then they'll also construct a reality built around the lie. Like because it like I guess it makes them feel better. Like I don't know, God Hand should not be seen as this like scrappy underdog game that you have to be so protective of. Not anymore. I love that game. Like, I'm not saying that in.
Dude, it's actually fucked that I think I I don't really like character action games at all, but I fucking love God Hand.
You know what it is? It's because it doesn't have the stylish action. I'm gonna check you on character action. It doesn't have the stylish action. No, it's
I'm sorry.
Like that like ball busting. Like, yeah, we expect perfection of you at all times. Like, God Hand is a classic beat 'em up where, like, yeah, you can get through the level dying 100 times by the skin of your teeth, and the game's really not gonna.
Wait a minute, what's wrong with stylish action? Like, what's wrong with that as a descriptor? I feel like that's pretty apt. I feel like this genre stems from fucking Devil May Cry, which is all about sort of style. But
character action is the one that I don't like.
Oh, you don't like character action? Oh, I'm sorry if I said character action.
It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do
stylish
that.
action is my preferred term. I think it makes the most sense, but no, like, but God Hand, like, it does have this sort of classic beat 'em up sense of just like, if you really want to get good at this game, like, feel free, but like, we're not going to expect it from you.
That's what I connected with God Hand on was less as like a stylish action game, but more as like this is a beat 'em up actually in 3D.
That's exactly what it was pitched as.
And I feel like they actually perfectly they fucking nailed it.
Ironically enough, the tank controls kind of do have that like belt moving, like, where everyone's really slow and you're moving like on different axes, like you can't move diagonally. Like, it actually kind of does have that vibe about it.
God Hand only controls bad because it doesn't control like any other video game you've played.
Yeah, the thing about bad controls is that they're unreliable. And like a reliable control scheme that is difficult to use is not a bad control scheme.
Yeah, and also like God Hand's control scheme makes perfect sense when you actually play the game for like 2 hours, and then you're like, I understand.
And the game is not
played enough.
Yeah, the
game
is not. It's not putting you in scenarios where there's controls aren't enough.
Yeah, they do put you in situations where the beginner move list is not enough, but
you shouldn't be. You shouldn't
what
be
are you gonna
keeping that around that long.
I can't believe they do start you with like the worst fucking moves ever, like the lamest attacks.
It's really
ever.
funny too because like the hidden moves make that game relatively like viable early game, but like good luck fucking figuring them shits out, man. But yeah, like you don't get a ground launch move besides Charge Punch until Chapter 2, which is not bad, but. Bruh, you're gonna want that mule kick,
dude. And then you got the very first level where you like go into the fucking bar and one of the enemies will always spawn in like one of those sicko mode demons. That's just fucked
but that's
up
super
too. That
Shinji
they put that there,
like to just haze you in the first level. Like he loves that shit.
Yeah, dude, that's what the first level of God Hand is. It's fucking you're getting hazed.
And it's great because that level is not that hard, but like it's about as hard as the game is gonna be for the rest. Like, it never gets easier than that level.
It's hard. It's only hard because like you don't know shit when you're fucking starting. You're just like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then it's got the goofiest.
Dude, that song is penis music. Like God Hand isn't all penis music, but that song is penis music.
Maya.
That is also penis music. Can we just real quickly wait, no, because you don't know the God Hand soundtrack like I do. I was gonna say, can we go through all of the songs that? But
yeah, no, I only remember.
I do want to talk about penis music because I alluded to a children's show that is the most of its time show. Like, if you combined Code Lyoko with dude, I didn't even get to the part where I combined it with anything. Yeah,
I'm already in.
If you combine Code Lyoko with like 3 Delivery or Yin Yang Yo or like one of these like lame like 2000s era
dude, Saki
Chooks, yeah, like martial arts infused show with like the Tron cartoon that Elijah Wood was in.
The Tron Uprising, right?
Yeah, if you just shove all of those...
Don't know how I knew that.
If you just shove all that shit into a blender and then pour it on JetX, you get Ed. Do you remember Get Ed?
I know Get Ed. I know Get Ed.
Dude, I was like looking into Get Ed again. Are we able to play the Get Ed theme song on the show?
I don't want to risk it.
We might have to risk it. Because that theme song is worth experiencing. Like, just because it's so bad. It's so lame.
In the series, Ed is an electrogenetically enhanced teen who works for Dojo Deliveries.
So can we just break down everything you just heard in that sentence? Science fiction, teen fiction, weird Japanese aesthetic infusion that everyone had in the 2000s. and there's also hip hop infusion with like old school. The old man from that series' name is Old School, and he like rips on like turntables.
Yeah, Anthony Old School, the teacher.
Oh, they all have symbols like it's fucking Avatar. They all represent the elements. So you have
so there's Ed,
the Joker,
the Protector, Burn, the
Dreamer,
Dietz, the Dreamer, Fizz, the Builder, Loogie, the Joker, and then Torch.
Who's I think he's a pet, right? Torch is like one of those pets.
He's an AI represented as a floating fireball hologram with the face.
Just the amount of things that they shoved into this show is so funny.
There's a bunch of reoccurring characters like Dr. Dive.
That's an
awesome name.
Dr. Dive. Dude, that's a Jet Set Radio character.
Dude, there's also a character named Dirk Cheap, who's also Dirk Cheap, who apparently is the sole employee of Dirk Cheap.
Yeah, Dirk
Deliveries.
Cheap, I get it.
And Dr. Hong, Buster and Pitt,
Beaner and Skinner.
How many episodes of this show are there? Wow, there's fucking 26.
That's a full one season.
They did it. They did. Hey, man, we wouldn't even get that nowadays. You're lucky to get fucking 10 episodes.
It's funny because that show has like a big cliffhanger about like Ed's like origins or whatever, where he's like made from aliens or something.
What? Okay, you know what? We're gonna watch the fucking Gid. We're gonna watch it. We're watching the Gid.
The intro, yeah, no, because it is worth experiencing. Just like the penis musicness of it.
What? There's penis music featured in this opening?
I would actually describe them as penis lyrics. It's not penis music, it's penis lyrics.
Alrighty, let's just watch this shit.
Progress City, where couriers fight to keep their
I love how it's
Progress City.
Progress City.
Mr. Bedlam.
Ed.
Dude, this... Oh man, dude, this CG is awesome. This era of CG brings me back.
So, do you hear that one lyric? That's the only one.
This is penis music. You're so right.
That shot of her flying is so bad.
It's just it's This doesn't look like if 10-year-old me saw this, I would not be interested at all. Or 8-year-old me, because it was 2005, I would not be about this. I don't think.
This is the second dystopic, futuristic story about deliveries, and it's like.
Yeah, because you're right. There's also 3 Delivery, which was also on Jet X. I can't believe they like reused the idea.
3 Delivery. The difference was that they were Chinese delivery people. Like they delivered Chinese food, but they didn't.
But they also got involved in
but like
stuff.
they didn't deliver Chinese food. Like that was like they just happened to work at a delivery place.
Hold on, I'm looking this up. I'm looking up what exactly this shit was about. Oh, apparently it was also known as Chop Suey Trio.
I can see why they had to change it because of Chop Suey Chooks.
Chop Sucky Chooks, yeah. It's a great fucking pan pizza fucking video about fucking Chop Suey Chooks where he talks about how he loves saying it because he thinks he's saying something
sounds like
offensive.
a slur.
It does sound like a slur. It's awesome. Anyways, Kong Lee unleashed the power of a magical cookbook, scattering its dangerous recipes throughout Chinatown. Thanks to an ancient spell, a force field was placed around the city, keeping the magic in. Oh, that's convenient. For many years, the rest of the world was protected, but now Kong Lee has returned to find the powerful recipes. If he succeeds, their evil power will be released and the world will be in grave danger. Luckily, 3 teenage heroes skilled in Kung Fu have been trained to stop him. When orphans Sue, Sid, and Toby were recruited by Nana to make deliveries for Wu Garden's Chinese restaurant, they saw it as a way to move out of the orphanage and have a chance to ride cool bikes.
That is the most 2000 sentence I've ever heard in my entire life.
Little did they know then that they would be locked in a battle against evil for the fate of the world. Dude, this is like some like Animorph shit. Like, yeah, we just want to turn into cool animals. Well, fuck,
you gotta save the
you,
world.
Tough shit. You're involved in an intergalactic war where all your friends and family are being mind controlled by the Yerks.
Shapeshifter? So Shapeshifter is just like a clear ripoff of Animorphs. By the way, so what's funny is that, and this is one of these things that only I can identify, because they talked about Shapeshifter on Best the Worst. And the opening title of Shapeshifter, there's this like, it's not even like angelic, it's like this like crystal shimmer sound. And I was like, I've heard this sound before. Where have I heard this sound before? Sam, when you exit a grotto in Ocarina of Time, that's the sound that opens the film Shapeshifter. Which means they bought it from like a library. The same library that Nintendo bought it from. Yeah, and I heard that, you know, and I was watching all the Best of the Worst stuff on my first playthrough of Phantom Pain. Like, it would just be in the background while I was playing. So I was watching it and you know, grinding out my side ops. And like, I heard that sound and I just went, like, it was one of these moments where like it was like I was like a dog who like caught a scent. Like, I just.
That shit'll take you out of fucking anything,
when you hear like a sound,
hear the video game noise.
Well, I remember hearing the sound of the shine, Fox's shine in Star Ocean 4 till the end of time, or Star Ocean 3. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's 3. And I was like, I played Melee. I know that sound. Yeah. So Shapeshifter is about like a boy who could shift shapes. He can turn into like a griffin and a dog and shit like that, but like he ends up involved in like this international spy drama against Russians, which ends up turning out to be intergalactic drama about a witch who arrived via a meteor. Like, and it's just like, this kid just wants to shift shapes, dude. He doesn't want to fucking become a spy and become a...
He just wants to be the master of disguise,
yeah, he just wants to get
like...
his Energico up, man. But no, he can't do it. He's got to save the world. Yeah, like, Get Ed is one of these funny shows where it's like, bro, do these kids just want to work a fucking job? Like they just want to get paid?
Dude, Jetix is the fucking best, bro. Like that, like Nicktoons Network,
yeah.
Jetix era,
the
shit.
syndication network.
Like those cartoons are a certain level of mid.
Well, they also used to license the mid-anime. That's where they showed all the mid-anime. Because, like, the real good shit was on either Cartoon Network or Toonami.
Yeah, you went to Nicktoons to watch Magi Nation.
You went there to you went to Jetix to watch Beat 'em On or Shinzo.
Yeah, or Speed Racer: The Next Generation.
Free Delivery, Speed Racer, and Kalpa Mikey are all by the same guy.
Yes, which, by the way, can I just say about Speed Racer Next Generation that the first 3 episodes, which were made straight to DVD, are like some of the hysterically worst animated
really
shit
bad.
you could ever fucking see in your life. It's pretty.
It reminds
it's
me
actually
of, like,
impressive
the Crystal
how
Coconut
dog shit it
DVD.
is. Oh my god, dude! I love that shit, dude. All
the
the
Crystal
songs
Coconut
on the
DVD
fucking
has the
Crystal
best
Coconut-
soundtrack of all the DK episodes.
It's
the Claptrap song when he's playing the key.
The Claptrap song is awesome. The
both
Pirate
the Pirate
songs
are incredible.
To know everything, you must give up everything.
And that also has that great like medley between like all 3 of the bad guys, because he gives them the crystal coconut and they gotta bring it back, gotta get it back, take it back. That song is so fucking awesome. I also love that the voice of Donkey Kong is clearly like like Wayne Brady or something, like just someone who's like not because the Donkey Kong voice is like, yeah, we're gonna do this thing, man, and then the singing voice is like Wayne Brady's voice, where he's like buttery smooth, whereas DK's like, yo, Candy.
Oh man, dude, I fucking that DK show's awesome. Great. I've only really seen that the Legend of the Crystal Coconut. I didn't really grow up with the other episodes,
and like they're not as good.
It's just they don't hit like Secret of the Crystal Coconut.
Coconut just being 3 pilot episodes stapled together is so amazing.
It's beautiful.
And again, they got the best songs.
Beautiful.
The best songs.
They were, yeah, I know, it's fucking perfect. Now, did you grow up on Super Mario Bros. Super Show at all?
My parents bought me the DVD for Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and
like
and
the box set?
Legend of Zelda cartoon, and Sonic Underground.
Oh, okay. What did you think of the
terrible.
Zelda cartoon? Because I would.
Not only is it garbage, it has the worst Zelda design of all time. She's fugly, dude.
Oh yeah.
I was explaining to someone, they're like, what about CDI Zelda? I'm like, CDI Zelda has a couple frames where she is super cute. There's not a single good frame of, like, fucking snub-nosed, pork-ass Zelda. Like, fucking Ganondorf's daughter Zelda with her fucking piggy nose. Like, just fugly as sin.
I only would ever, because when you would watch Super Mario Bros. Super Show, they would play clips from Zelda from some of the episodes, like in the interims where it would be Captain Lou Albano and the other guy is Luigi.
Captain Lou Albano and other guy. Dude, now that Charles Martinet is stepping down, we'll bring Albano back.
I can't believe that, by the way.
I don't know why he stepped...
Captain Lou Albano is
we'll bring
dead.
him back, Sam. I literally meant we'll bring him back to
we'll bring
life.
him back from the dead.
I was a little too subtle there. We'll bring him not back into the booth, back to life. Dude, we'll just shove a green mushroom down his fucking corpse throat and give him another life.
Dude, I'm not ready for someone else to be Mario.
Either, and here's the thing, for Charles Martinet, if this is a genuine promotion, like, I'm really happy for him, like, because he's given 30 years of his life to this franchise. Like, if he gets to travel the world on Nintendo's dime and like enjoy and like bring Mario to people and like represent Mario, like, that's awesome. Like,
but like, because here's my thing, I just got to be honest, like, I feel like we could still be using this man's voice fucking 3 or 4 decades from now. Like, I like, even well beyond, you know, when he eventually leaves the mortal coil, like we all will. Like, I feel like we could still keep using it. It's Mario's. He's got like 100.
That's the thing.
Phrases.
Like, I would wonder if that means like they're just not going to have him do new Mario voices, and we're just going to get recycled as Mario clips forever. Because I don't know if I'd hate that. I don't think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
No, I mean, I don't really want someone else new being Mario. Like, I don't know if my brain's gonna fucking connect with that. Like, Mario's all about fucking tradition.
It's not like Sonic, where he's had like 7 voice actors already. Like Mario has been Charles Martinet forever. Like, as far as canon material goes.
Yeah, obviously, obviously he's voiced by someone different in fucking Super Show. Like, he's voiced by Chris Pratt in the movie.
There's never been a game where he's not
man
Mario.
In the games.
Like, and it's like you can replace Peach and you can replace Daisy. I think Daisy's had like 3 voices. Peach has had like 6 or something crazy like that.
They're not the title character.
But the thing that you also have to understand is that he's not just Mario. He's Luigi, and he's Wario, and he's
Luigi
Waluigi.
and Wario, and a bunch of other characters.
And he's probably other characters that I don't even know.
I think he's like a couple other like weird
that are still in circulation. Like, because he was the voice of the announcer in Super Punch Out, but that's not happening. Like, they don't need that guy back, you know.
It's a shame. End of a fucking long era.
Probably, like, I would say he had the single best run
legacy
of any like video game voice actor. He didn't get replaced by Kiefer Sutherland. He didn't He didn't like get fucking fired for sexual harassment, like fucking Justin Roiland. Like, he's had an incredible run. Like a truly like legendary. No one else in the industry can say that they've had a run as historic and as long as Charles Martinet, with as many games as Charles Martinet. Because you have people who voice like Cloud Strife or whatever, like what you get them for like 7 games total. Like Martinet.
Mario's
he's in
hundreds of fucking games.
9 Mario Karts, and his voice is in probably like at least, I don't know, 6 of them, right? Because he's not in GBA and he's not in Super Nintendo. But he's probably in like, you know, any other Mario Kart game.
Does Super Circuit might not have like...
It might have chirps.
Chirps?
Yeah, it might have little chirps, but he's definitely not in Super Mario Kart, because no one is. No one's in Super Mario Kart.
Yeah, definitely not that. He's in at least
he's in, I can say he's in at least 7
7
of them. And then he's also in 11 Mario Party games. No, 12, because they're superstars. He's in fucking 12 Mario Party games. He's in what? 9 mainline Super Mario Bros. Super Mario 3D games, and 4 new Super Mario games, not including Luigi, not including New Super Luigi. Yeah, I mean, like, and tennis and golf.
Like Eddie voiced Mario appearance from 1996 is him in a game.
Probably, I'm gonna say it's at least 50 games. Like, at bare minimum, it's 50 games.
Yeah,
not including like
which
Smash
is just
Bros. Or
anything like that, or even games like Luigi's Mansion, or like that games like that where he might have a line or two. Like, it's fucking shout outs to him, man. What a fucking legend. I've been hearing his voice forever.
Let's wish him well, man.
Gotta give him
if
some respect.
This truly is like a big promotion. Like, congratulations, you earned it.
Yeah, hopefully it is, but yeah. Anyways, Myles, this was a fun episode. I had a lot of laughs. I had a lot of laughs.
We did very
this week.
very well this week, Sam.
I've told myself I was going to promote the Discord at the front end of the show, but I forgot.
We got right away into Riverdale. Yeah, we got right into Riverdale.
By the way, the other thing I cried at to cap that off was I was watching a totally not Mark's video on Dragon Ball Z, the Cell Saga, and I cried at the end of the Cell game.
That shit is emotional though with Goku.
It is emotional, dude. The father-son
is so legendary. It's in like all the fighting games,
and he presents it. He just presents it in like the most pitch perfect, beautiful way, and gives you like the greatest context for this scene. And at the time, and I'm like, and I just was so emotional. I'm like, oh my god, Goku,
dude!
No.
That shit. By the way, that shit was gonna be the end. Like, Gohan was going to just like, Gohan's right. He was going to become like the new Goku and become a new hero.
Yeah, the new dude.
Goku.
All
was
that
just
shit's
dead.
Amazing. Yeah, Goku fucking sending him to fucking King Kai's planet, fucking Super Saiyan 2 from fucking Gohan. Also, Super Saiyan 2 hits way harder knowing that, like, Super Saiyan, like, a faux version of, like, Super Saiyan 2 and a faux version of Super Saiyan 3 are, like, introduced, like, in the saga. Like Vegeta and, fucking Trunks go, like, fake pseudo Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, but it's not true Super Saiyan 2, and it's only when fucking Gohan does it in the fucking goddamn legend. Akira Toriyama's a fucking
people are
legend.
too hard on Dragon Ball Z, I think. Just read the manga. Just fucking read the manga. It's better. I did. It was awesome. You can watch the Dragon Ball anime. That's actually good.
All the flaws in the story, I wouldn't fix.
Well, it's like JoJo. One of those things. Just like there's a charm to it. There's a charm to like the fact that like you're watching something that is blatantly doing a lot of things wrong, but it's by the most original guy. I feel this way with Hideo Kojima as well, where it's like I think I would rather watch someone make a bunch of like bad judgment calls writing wise, but their vision is super original than like, because I love a good like perfect script, but like, if I'm gonna stick to an IP, I'd rather it be someone like Toriyama where there's like real character there. There's like a real like sense of like, oh, these are the problems that Toriyama has as a writer, and he's gonna keep making those mistakes, and I just have to accept them as the identity of the series.
It's just one of those things where Dragon Ball Z is just one of those like really peculiar series where like I just feel like everything that fucking happens in Dragon Ball Z is like a fucking cool iconic.
Yeah, well,
moment.
there's a lot, especially like filler stuff in the anime that's also become iconic. But like the manga is kind of nonstop, like iconic moments.
Dude, I was like surprised. The Cell Saga is only like 90 chapters, in which is a lot, and it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest. Boo might be bigger manga wise. I don't really know about that, but it's between the Saiyan Saga, which I think is like 50 something chapters, and then Frieza, which is like 70. It's like a bigger.
Yeah, well,
jump.
the Android chapter is I think as long as the Frieza chapter, because I don't think that's considered part of the Cell games.
Yeah. It's fucked. It's fucked. Some people I talk to consider the Android Saga like separate from Cell. I'm someone who considers it all the Cell Saga, like androids, like from Trunks showing up and killing Frieza and being like the androids are coming. Like that's the start of the
I
Cell
generally
Saga
just refer to it,
even though Cell's not relevant
I still
until
generally
halfway through.
refer to it as the Android Saga, even for Cell, which is weird because it's the Cell Saga. Everyone thinks of it as the Cell Saga.
Yeah, it's my man. Cell that way. He's like, I love Frieza, but I think Cell's my favorite.
Frieza has
Frieza
has like an OG kind of element to him that I respect, but Cell, I just like that Cell is like he becomes cruel. Like you kind of watch him become a villain.
Yeah. And I just like I like his first form a lot too. I just love how fucking alien and fucking
season 3
wild
where
he
he's
looks.
got black guy lips or form 3. He's got
Perfect Cell,
where he's got black guy lips. That one sucks.
Oh yeah, the middle form. You mean? Yeah, because I like because
Imperfect Cell and Perfect Cell are incredible.
As well.
And then there's this shitty one with Toriyama black guy lips. And it sucks.
Yeah, the fire and the laser guy. But yeah, no, fucking DBZ's fucking awesome. I can't wait for the fucking Boo Saga video that he's doing that's coming out next week. Because now I can finally actually know like the events of the Boo Saga.
I was pretty
in
scarred by one
like...
scene in the Boo Saga as a kid. And I won't spoil it for you because he might show it, but it like freaked me out for some reason as a kid. And it's like so lame. It's super lame.
Oh.
Like it's one of those things where like you're like, that was your problem. Actually, now that I think about it, it's pretty hardcore. It's pretty dark, but like the execution of it. But it scared me, like as a little kid.
Yeah,
I was watching this shit when I was 7 years old. Like when fucking Gohan gets his arm fucking ripped off by the androids. I saw that shit.
Oh yeah.
And did I mention I told my teacher about that? I like mentioned that it happened like just completely out of the blue in the middle of the class, like completely unrelated. It was probably something to do with like World War or the Civil War, or, like the Revolutionary War, where like we were talking about, you know, like some violent act or whatever, like combat medics, and I was like, I watched someone's arm get ripped off on television, and then the teacher was like, "Do your parents know about this?" I'm like, "Yeah, they watch it with me."